Hello! Welcome to my post-commentary on my latest speedrun PB of San Andreas 80% no major glitches. Completed the game in under 5 hours. I'm doing post-commentary because on the day I was doing the run, I didn't really talk very much, and I kind of ate cookies a lot, and the wrapper is really noisy and stuff. And the run was actually pretty good. I was fairly happy with it, so I thought I would do some post-commentary. If you want to watch the raw live run in 16:9 with my dumb face in it and some chat and stuff, there'll be a link in the description. That's right, the description. I'm not even going to pin a comment. You're going to have to read the description. Anyway, it's going to be in the description, so go there if you want to watch the full live run. But anyway, this is the post commentary, and here we go. So we're starting Big Smoke. There's a strat at the start of the run now, where while you're waiting for people to pedal, you kill a cop. So I'm killing a cop here, and what this is going to do is going to give me 2 stars, hopefully, and I'll also get a baton and a handgun, and I need all of these things for later on. Now, this here, this is the pink Voodoo. Let me do that again. This is the pink Voodoo, right? Now, in normal runs or gameplay, what you do is you drive until under the motorway, and then a cutscene plays where Sweets says like, oh, we're gonna split up, and the Voodoo chases him or whatever. But if you actually like kill the Voodoo driver or passenger or whatever, or blow it up, you skip that cutscene. So what speedruns do nowadays is you run over a cop right at the start, get the handgun, get the night baton, and then you also kill the driver or passenger of the Voodoo as well. So that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to kill the driver. He dies, falls out, and then thankfully there's another cop. Now, I kill that cop, pick up his handgun ammo and night baton pointlessly again. And now I have 2 stars. So what I'm doing here is now I'm looking for a police car. And I want to get in a police car so that I'll get given a shotgun. Because whenever you enter a police car, you get given a shotgun. Unfortunately, I don't find one. And you may have noticed that these guys had stopped pedaling if I go back a bit. I don't find a police car because unfortunately I've taken too long or I've left it too late or whatever. But you see here, these guys, they've stopped pedaling down the road. When you get too far away from your friends, they stop pedaling. So the whole plan at the start is to get in front of them as far as you can, then kill a cop, kill the Voodoo, get into a police car, gather a bunch of ammo and stuff, and then keep driving without having them stop pedaling. So you basically don't lose any time, but you gain a bunch of resources. Unfortunately, it didn't go quite as well as I would hope here in this run. But it gets a lot better after the start. But the start's a bit I don't get a police car, so I don't have a shotgun, and I only get the police bike. And I only have this much handgun ammo, which is about enough. I kind of want a lot of handgun ammo for reasons I'll get into later, I hope. But anyway, so the guys stopped pedaling, so I had to catch up to them. You'll notice Smoke isn't here, because I must have left him back at the start. Now, here comes this cutscene. You see, we skip the Voodoo cutscene, so there's no bit where, like, Sweet rides away with the Voodoo. So Sweet is actually still with us. You see, there's all 3 of them there. So that saves a bit of time. Now, what I'm doing here is I'm looking for a police car again. At the end of the mission, I did want a police bike, because I'm going to store the police bike in the garage. But I wanted a police car first, because... I'm turning it up a bit. Because yeah, there's a police car. Because I wanted a shotgun. But it's too late now to take the police car and the shotgun, because now I need to push Ryder and stuff. If I tried to get into that cop car then, I wouldn't be able to. Ah, here's the drug dealer. So I kill the drug dealer for some more money. Not super required. Having a bit more money lets me buy a better haircut in a minute. But that's not super important. But it does let me buy more pizzas if I need to heal. But I don't need to do that in either. So it was just for fun, basically. Alright, so I've got almost all the resources I wanted to get from Big Smoke. It's very action-packed at the start. I got a night baton. I got a ton of handgun ammo. I didn't get the micro SMG from the Voodoo guys, but that's okay because I don't really use that very often. And I didn't get the shotgun, which is the biggest downside. But I did get the police bike. So I push Ryder a bit until he gets close enough, drive the police bike into the garage, store it, closes behind me, and then into the marker, and that's the first mission done. Now, something really strange here happens. I think I didn't, if I go back, I think when I've parked this police car, I haven't put it far enough into the garage. So you see, like, here's the entrance of the garage, and it's kind of like poking out a lot. So I don't think that this bike stored here, because later in the run, I think it's this run anyway, I hope it's this run, all this commentary is going to be dumb, but I'm pretty sure the bike doesn't get stored, and I don't know this until much later, but thankfully I managed to recover from it. Alright, continuing on, that's Big Smoke done. I move away from the door. So, small note, as this cutscene started, I like jumped so that I would get away from the door. If you're too close to the door, the big yellow triangle thing doesn't spawn in, and you need that to get out, obviously. So what you normally do is you would walk forwards a little bit, go into the corner, and then walk back out. But what you can do, because you can jump before the cutscene and then run back. I'm not really convinced it's faster, but it's funnier. But I ended up like in the like the living room area, which kind of screwed me up a bit. But anyway, all right. So here's another thing I haven't talked about yet. So if you watch carefully here, you'll notice that the screen flashes right before I walk into this marker, right here, right, and then we see this here was part of Big Smoke earlier. What I've done here is all the way back here. As soon as this cutscene ends, you'll notice that this cutscene doesn't have a fade out. It just cuts now. See, there's no fade out. Whereas normally when cutscenes happen, like when this one starts, there's a fade to black that happens there, see? It fades to black and then it fades back in. But at the end of this cutscene, there's no fade out. Now, why the hell am I talking about fade outs? It's because fade outs actually like take time in the run, right? Like you're waiting for the game to fade to black before things happen. But there's a way to like skip these fade outs. So what I did here is as soon as this cutscene ended, I've pressed F2. And what that does, I'm going to draw an F2 on the screen for some reason. That's terrible. What that does is it records a replay. Now the PC version of this game has a thing called replays where you could like save the previous like 30 seconds or whatever of gameplay to a file. And then you can press a button to like replay it again later. To like, you know, watch it again. It was like a primitive form of like, you know, gameplay recording. The thing is, the replay, when you play it, it has a very quick fade. And if you play that replay right before a fade to black happens, you kind of like skip the fade to black. You like overwrite it with the replay fade. Now, this is relevant because with that saved replay, oh yeah, and the fade out, right. I forgot a detail. So when you record a replay, you record like the previous 30 seconds or whatever of gameplay. But cutscenes like this, they cut off the replay, right? So when I save the replay here, right, as soon as I save this replay, it will save from when I press the button all the way back to the last cutscene that happened, or 30 seconds, whatever comes first. But because a replay just happened, a cutscene just happened, this replay is really, really, really short. And that's important because when you start playing a replay, it takes forever before you can stop playing the replay. So what we do is we record replays in certain spots where there's no fade outs after cutscenes like this. And you can make what's known as a fast replay. So what I've done here is I've recorded a really fast replay, and then if we skip forwards back to where we were, right, as I walk into this marker, I play the replay. That's it. That's how fast it is, right? This replay is like ridiculously fast, and I'm going to play it before I think a fade out's about to happen, like that, and it makes the fade out way faster. Do you see? So there was no fade to black and then cutscene start, and then fade to black and then cutscene start, and then we just keep going. It's just all like instantaneous, right? Like all of the mission is skipped and everything instantly. It's a really useful trick, and it doesn't look like it'll save a lot of time, but it actually does over the course of a run. Replays have another function, which I'll get into later, but for now, that's all you need to know about them. Anyway, nothing interesting happened while I was explaining that. So we're continuing on. I don't think anything too fancy happens here. Oh yeah, the haircut. Okay, so later in the run, I'm going to need sex appeal. So what I do here is I actually buy a very specific haircut. So in this list of haircuts, you have like the Caesars or whatever, and then you've got like the afros, and then you've got a bunch of like custom ones at the bottom. All of these different haircuts have different stats, like respect and sex appeal, and obviously how much they cost. What I'm doing here is I'm going to buy the sexiest haircut I can with the amount of money I had. So at the start of the run, you normally start with $350 here. I don't know why I'm drawing where the dollars is. And that means the sexiest haircut you can normally buy is the Jerry Curl, which costs exactly $350. And that's sexy enough to do what I want to do later on. But because I killed that drug dealer earlier, I picked up some of his money, not a lot of it. He normally drops like 2,000, but I picked up a bit. I now have loads of money. So I can actually buy a slightly sexier haircut, which is the cornrow, which costs $500, which you can't see because of the subtitle. So I quickly switch to the cornrow, pick it as quickly as possible, and then use that haircut. So that's why I'm picking that specific haircut. And then onwards. So fun fact, if you spend all of your money in the barber here, when you go to the pizza place, you need to buy a pizza, obviously. If you don't have any money, or if you don't have enough money for a pizza, the game will give you $2. But that's kind of flawed. But anyway, so yeah, if you spend all your money on the haircut in the barber shop, the game will give you $2 to buy a pizza here. But sometimes you take like more damage in the first mission, so one pizza doesn't fully heal you and you need your health, so it can be beneficial to have a bit of money at the start. But anyway, none of that matters. Keep going. That's what I do there. Now on to the next mission. I'm trying to remember what it is. It's funny, when I'm playing the game I know exactly what I need to do and when. Oh, that was good. There was a little strat here. So I can't always get this, but I managed to like teleport out of the car. So you see here, the car door, the car door here is blocked by the tree. And there's Ryder is sat in the back. There's my little picture of Ryder. Ryder is sat in the passenger seat. So in this cutscene, what happens, you drive into the marker, the car stops, and then CJ will climb out of the car, and after he's climbed out, the cutscene will end. But here, because I managed to block the driver's side door on the tree, and Ryder is in the passenger seat, CJ just teleports out of the car instead. See, I just went, whoop, just teleported out. Whereas Ryder has to slowly climb out of the car. But that actually saves like a tiny amount of time. It's really hard to pull off though, but I managed to do it. I should have played a replay there, but whatever. Alright, next mission. So again, I'm going to run over here. I'm going to play a replay right before running into the marker. There it is. Right, tagging up turf. What is there to say in this mission? I'm not super sure. I didn't really plan any of this commentary at all. I'm just kind of doing it live. No plans were made, traditional Joshua style. Oh, here's a thing to explain. So here, if you pay attention to what I'm doing with the camera, you'll notice that I'm flicking the camera like down and then up, down and up, like that in a really fast motion. This really annoys people watching the game and they don't understand what this is and they get annoyed at you doing it. But if you pay attention, in the distance, you'll see there's two cars here, way off in the distance. And then after I do the camera flick, there are no longer two cars here. Dun dun dun, what possibly could have happened? Oh my god, is he hacking? I'm having way too much fun with this whiteboard. No, flicking the camera up and down like that, if you do it correctly, what happens is cars in the distance that aren't like high level of computational precision, that are like in the distance, they're like using low resources or whatever. What you can do when you flick the camera like that is you can re-roll the traffic RNG. So if we go back to the start of this drive, right, and you see most of this drive, there is no traffic, right? But the game is trying to spawn traffic constantly, but it just has a high chance of not doing anything. But then here, it actually succeeded, right? So the random number generator, the randomness that the game's using, it's like constantly trying to spawn a car on the road, and it's set to like 90% of the time or whatever. It doesn't, because otherwise there'd be too many cars, right? But sometimes it does. Well, by flicking the camera like this, what I'm doing is I'm not despawning the cars like people think I am. I mean, I guess I am as well. But what you're doing is you're like re-rolling the traffic RNG. So while I removed these cars, what I actually did is the game like rolled the dice on whether there should be cars here again. But because the dice are weighted like 90% to no car, what happened is there's just no cars. Sometimes you can do this, and then there's a car like right here, right? So it's like kind of risky. I don't do it all the time. The better camera flick you do, the less likelihood of a car spawning right in your face. Because the further you look down, the more chance there is for a car to spawn like in front of you, right? So if I move the camera to like here, right? So say the top of the camera is here, right? This area is still in view, so it isn't re-rolled, but then this area isn't in view, so it is re-rolled and can disappear, right? But if I mess up and move my camera too much and move it down all the way to here, right? Now this whole area is going to get re-rolled, right? And that can mean that a car can spawn like literally in my fucking face, which is a problem. And I just swore and I didn't want to do that for ad-friendly things, whatever, never mind. Anyway, so you've got to be careful with the despawning, the re-rolling. But I use it here because there's cars like right in my way. I want to use a racing line to go around this corner like this. I won't explain racing lines, it's bad out of scope, but I want to go around this way, and these cars are right in my way, so I make the conscious decision to remove them. And then you'll see as the keyframe messes up, yeah, I drive like all the way around the road, and they would have been in my way. Now here I try to turn the car around, because after this I'm going to want to drive like this way. So what you can do is I can like turn the car all the way around to face the right way, but I don't quite pull it off here. But that doesn't matter. Alright, running over, spraying some tags. So here I like wiggle the camera up and down as I'm spraying the middle of the tag. Apparently that makes it faster. I don't know why. And I'm just trying to like time the tag as good as I can to like, you know, not waste as much time as possible spraying. Now here, obviously, there is no tag that I'm spraying. I run up to this wall and I just start spraying. That's because the tag is on the other side of the wall. The tag's like here or whatever, and I can't see it. But the way the hitboxes for the tags work is it only checks distance. It doesn't check whether there's walls or anything. So you can spray the tag through the wall like that. Sometimes I just can't find it. I swear it moves. You know, I know it doesn't, but yeah, I just can't hit it sometimes. Alright, moving on. Driving up here. Yeah, hit the wall a little bit, trying to take the racing lines, but not really doing a very good job of it. So, this marker right here is kind of weird. So, there's this hill here, right? It like goes upwards like this. There's like upwards and then downwards like that. There's a hill, right? And I want to try to get the car as close to this spray tag here as possible, so I have to run the least distance to get to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the hill to like jump over the marker and hit like, because here's like the hitbox for the marker, right? Instead of just driving in and hitting this side, I'm going to like jump over it and hit the far side of the marker, using the hill. But what can happen here is if you're not careful is that you can just jump straight over to the marker and just slam into this wall like an idiot. So I carefully line up and use this marker. I don't do it in this run. Of course I don't when I'm explaining it. But this was terrible. I slowed down a lot. But what you can do is like jump over to the other side of the marker and get way closer to the spray tag. But here I go like really slowly and I don't pull it off. Yeah, whatever. Just drive into it normally. Alright. So then here's the spray tag. Again, wiggling and spraying. All that good stuff. Now, here, I can't really you can't really see it because of the text, but there's two dudes here. Once you get close to them, like say this close, once you get over this line, a cutscene will play, and it's really short and you can skip it and everything. But do you know what's shorter than skipping a short cutscene? Not seeing one. So what I'm doing here is I'm going to try to shoot this guy right in the head, and then that will skip the cutscene. So line up, kill him like that, and the keyframes are just really going crazy, aren't they? Shoot him in the head, and then there's no cutscene here anymore, so I can just continue on. Now, there is one more baller who can sometimes punch me and get my way, but thankfully here it doesn't. Now, here's where the nightstick comes into play. Whoops. So, using careful movement here, what I can do is I can set up a certain nightstick animation. And this nightstick animation has the ability to knock over this fence in one hit. There it is. Now, that right there is mildly faster than climbing the fence. That's what I want the nightstick for. I also use the nightstick for one other thing, but I'll explain that when it comes up the second time. I already did it once this run. I don't know if anyone would have noticed, but yeah, I'll explain it the second time it comes up. Now, here is my mortal enemy, this jump. So, this is the end of the mission, and there's one more tag. I don't know if I look at it, really. No, I don't. But there's one more tag, like, on top of this roof. Let's see. I think I do look at it a little bit. I just need to pause quicker. There. There's a tag right here on this roof. What you're supposed to do is you're supposed to run around over here. You see this marker here that annoyingly is behind the HUD now. You're supposed to run over to this marker, and then there's a tutorial to teach you on how to climb over things. But I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to run up to here, and then I'm going to jump diagonally and just barely climb this ledge that's up here. And it's really tricky, and I struggle with it a lot. And sometimes I don't get it. I don't actually remember if I get it here. Let's see. Do I? First time. Nice. So I just barely caught this ledge and climbed up. And that gets me to the tag faster, obviously. Alright. And then here I try to run over. I didn't do it. But what I'm trying to do here is I spray this tag like this, and then an internal timer is happening in the game that when the timer's up, a cutscene's going to play and Sweet's going to drive over to me. So what I'm trying to do is run over here and then jump like off of the platform here, so that while the cutscene is happening, CJ is falling off of the ledge, because I can't control him anyway, so I might as well fall during that time. But unfortunately, I don't quite turn and jump in time, so the cutscene plays before it. So then this happens, and now I have to jump down like this, and this stumble wastes a load of time, do you see? Anyway, minor optimizations. Here I rotate, bonk into this wall to turn the car around like that, and then keep going. Alright, around the bend. Now, here is another function of the replays. So if you remember earlier, I'm talking about how I play a replay before I hit markers to skip fade-outs and stuff. Well, another part of playing replays into markers is that they can sometimes prevent your vehicle's speed from being decreased. So, when I drive into this marker, what's supposed to happen is my car is supposed to just instantly stop, right? Like, I hit the marker and the car goes, like, and you just lose all your speed at stop instantly. That happens for a lot of markers in the game. But if I play a replay into the marker, the car keeps rolling after the cutscene, like it keeps a lot of its speed. And you'll see what happens when I do that. So the car keeps rolling, and it runs Sweet over in the cutscene because of the way I angled it. Now, this looks really funny, but it actually has a speedrun purpose. So at the end of this cutscene, when they're done talking, they're supposed to like high five or fist bump or whatever. Right here, after this line. Get yourself a beer or something, and then they do an animation where they fist bump each other, and then he says, I'll catch up with you. But because Sweet is like dead under the car here, let me do a little because Sweet is dead under the car, he can't do the animation, so it just doesn't play it, and we just skip the animation of him fist bumping CJ, and you move on. Minor detail. Alright. I hope you're enjoying all the minor details. That's going to be the theme of this run. I'm going to go over every little minor detail, probably. Alright, moving on. It's time for whatever this mission's called. I don't remember names. So here, using the whole car keeps moving again thing, sort of, what I'm going to do here is there's another cutscene after this marker, so I want to play a replay. But I also want to not be in the car after the cutscene, because I want to like just sprint across this way without the car. So what I could do is just drive into the marker and then get out of the car after the cutscene. But why do that when you can get out of the car before the cutscene? So this is going to be really hard to demonstrate. And I don't know if I can change the speed, really. Can I change the speeds? Speeds. Slower. Okay, so I play the replay. And then here, do you see this? What is this right here? This is an open door. I jump out of the car. So right before I hit the marker, I bail, I play the replay, and then I bail out of the car at the very last second. So me and Ryder hit the marker because we're still traveling faster. And you see his doors open as well here. Because we're traveling forwards, but we still bail out of the car. And it just makes it so there's no car to get out of after the cutscene. See, or just on foot right after the cutscene. So, best of all the worlds. I drove to the marker and I didn't have to get out of the car. So yeah, then I sprint across the road. I look around here to see if I can find a police officer. Because if I find one, I want to shoot him and get a wanted star. Because after this cutscene here, I need to find a car. And the faster it is, the better. Now, this cutscene here, this isn't really the best place. Demonstrate it. How can I show this? But this cutscene here, there's two men, and one of them's like a drug dealer or whatever. Like here, this guy is a drug dealer, and you need to kill him for the mission. Now, the mission's supposed to teach you about melee combat or whatever, but you may have remembered that I got a gun at the beginning of the game. So, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to shoot this guy in the head to kill him quickly. But the problem is, if you get too close to him, like, I don't know, about here, right? If you get this close to him, a cutscene will play where, like, you talk about beating him up or whatever. So what I need to do is I need to be careful, and I need to, you see how I immediately turn left? I'm going to shoot him from this side of the road, like that. So now no cutscene plays. After this... well, another cutscene will play instead where he's just dead. After this cutscene, me and Ryder are going to be stood here, and I'm going to run to the road and try to find a car. But that's kind of slow, because after the cutscene, all the cars could be gone and stuff. So this is very quick, which is why I'm pausing it. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to shoot this fence, right? So that me and Ryder can run out of this area faster once the mission's over. And Ryder will get stuck on this fence because his pathfinding's really bad. So I'm going to immediately shoot this fence to knock it over. And then I'm going to try to like headshot any drivers of cars that I see driving past. So that their car is there after the cutscene and I can just steal it. So it's going to be really quick. Like that. Yeah, see? And I hit that guy. It doesn't quite look like it, but I did. So you see this Voodoo, he's dead, right? And I can just steal his car. And Ryder doesn't get stuck, and because Ryder tries to run like through the fence, and if there's a fence here, he'll bonk on it and then run around, and it's really slow and annoying. But yeah, I wanted a wanted star so that I could find like police cars and bikes, because those vehicles are really fast. But I got a Voodoo, and that's pretty good, so I can't complain. Alright, crack den time. So here, basically, you need to kill 3 dudes, and then you can move on. And obviously, again, this is supposed to be the melee tutorial, but again, gun. So I'm just going to headshot them all as quickly as possible.
Good afternoon, ball of dope pushers.
Alright, here we go. So I shoot this guy, crouch, shoot the next 2, like that. There we go. And then all 3 people are dead. As soon as all 3 people die, like a timer starts until the marker at the door will spawn and let me out. So while I'm waiting for this marker, what I do is I actually like shoot Ryder a bunch. And that's because I'm trying to train my pistol skill, right? So during this run in Los Santos, I'm going to use the pistol as my main weapon for the first half of Los Santos. And leveling up my pistol skill will make it so that the recoil is much less and is very helpful. So during times like this where I'm waiting for stuff to happen, I'll just shoot anybody. So I'm just shooting him, and then you see this marker only just appeared right as I walked up to it. So nothing was happening. There was like, I run in, watch this cutscene, ignore the blowjob in the background, shoot this guy, shoot these next two, and then waiting, shoot this guy, and then as soon as I turn around, you see there's no marker here, and as soon as I get close to it, the marker spawns perfectly on time, so I've like timed it perfectly. So just got a few little shots in to train my handgun skill later, for later rather. Ryder's doing a funny animation here, which he sometimes does. Anyway, driving back, nothing too interesting here. Just driving back to Grove Street. But yeah, these are all the little tiny details that go into the run. It's all tiny things like this constantly that I'm like trying to do and do quickly. Alright, maybe I should skip forward through cutscenes, I don't know. Anyway. Alright, so play a replay again into this marker. This cutscene starts, this mission starts. I run straight into the car and I get in just before them. Drive down the alleyway. This is the fastest route to the chicken place. We didn't used to take this route. We used to like go like down this road and then straight from Grove Street or whatever, but it turned out this route was faster. Riskier though, because all these like hills here are a pain in the dick, but you can get used to them. Now, this mission, a lot is going to happen very quickly. So, during this mission, there's an enemy Voodoo car, right? So here's an enemy Voodoo car, and the goal of the mission is to kill the two guys inside the car. You don't have to blow up the car, you just have to kill the passenger and the driver of the car. Now, in normal gameplay, what they expect you to do is not have a gun at this point, but your two friends, Sweet and Ryder, have guns and they will shoot. Smoke, who's in the back, doesn't actually shoot. But Sweet has a gun and will shoot out this way, and Ryder has a gun and will shoot out this way. And what you're supposed to do is just follow the Voodoo around until it catches fire, and then the two guys will get out, and then like Sweet will shoot the passenger, and Ryder, so Sweet will shoot the passenger and Ryder will shoot the driver when that happens, or that's who they're targeting all the time. So using this knowledge, we can actually make this mission a lot quicker. So what I'm going to do is, I know that Sweet is trying to shoot the passenger and Ryder is trying to shoot the driver. So what I'm going to do is very then follow the Voodoo, and I'm going to line up here. So I'm like parallel with the Voodoo. And then the Voodoo tries to turn right here and go this way. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to drive along and block it. And I'm very... Oh, come on, keyframes. I'm very carefully trying to line up Sweet with the passenger of the Voodoo. So right here, you see, here's Sweet's gun. It's very small, I don't know if you can see it. Here's Sweet's gun, and here's like the gun of the passenger. And what I'm doing is I'm sitting here and I'm waiting until Sweet shoots, because it's like random when your friends shoot. And I have to try to line up these two windows so that Sweet just kills the passenger. Do you see? So the Voodoo stopped, the passenger dies, and because his friend is dead, the driver gets out for some reason. I'm not really sure why. But anyway, he does, right? So I killed the passenger, and then the driver gets out. This skips the whole blowing up the car, right? Because the car has loads of health, and you don't need to blow up the car. The goal is to kill the two guys, not the car, right? So I've lined it up, Sweet shoot him, and now the guy gets out of the car down here, you see? And what I'm doing is I'm going to drive over here, do a loop, and then I'm going to try to run the driver over. This is where things get a little awkward, because there's AI cars everywhere, and they're all freaking out because there's loads of gunfire. So what they can do is they can drive into the Voodoo and push the guy, they can drive into me and spin me out and stuff. The backup plan is to have just just Ryder just shoot the guy, but he's quite bad at it. So I can't turn around because the taxi's in my way, so I have to do a little twisty thing. But thankfully Ryder kills the guy and we can keep going. And none of the traffic got in my way and everything was fine. So that's how you do that mission. There you go. Despawn traffic a little bit, and yeah, just keep going. Where's my water? Let's have some. So nothing really happens. Oops, nothing really happens here. I just drive to the markers as quickly as possible.
Man, if you can eat your food while everybody else is losing theirs and blaming you, you straight, huh?
Right.
What?
Try to drink that as quickly as possible. I'm very close to the microphone. Alright, straight into the marker. And then back up. And failed to turn the car around. That was pretty dumb. And then back to Grove Street. Back to the next mission. I don't quite remember what the next mission is. Something. I'm sure we'll find out in a second. Oh, wait, there's one thing before that. So, here, I drove into this fence that was here, right? That isn't really for any reason. It's just to stop the car quicker so I can get out. And I have a phone call that I need to answer, right? Like how do I demonstrate a phone call? Like a little musical note? That's terrible. Yeah, there's a phone call I need to answer that will unlock, like... in the game, there's a bunch of phone calls and they all form like a queue. And some phone calls unlock missions and others unlock features, like gym and stuff like that. And others don't do anything, they're just phone calls. But I need to answer all of them, like, as quickly as possible, right? So I know a phone call is going to happen here. So I'm going to answer this phone call before starting the mission, which is here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to run up to this porch, and then I'm going to walk over here and wait for the phone call to end. Like, I'm going to cancel it as soon as I get it. And then here is this ledge. Now, what happens when you answer the phone is that CJ will do this animation where he takes the phone out of his pocket, flips it open, puts it up to his ear, and then, because I'm instantly cancelling the phone call, he'll then take it away, flip it back down, put it back in his pocket, and then you can do things again, right? And that's really slow when you don't want to do that. So what I'm going to do is, while the picking the phone up animation is happening, I walk up to this porch, right? And he puts the phone next to his ear. And as soon as this animation is starting to end and he's starting to put it in his pocket, I fall off this ledge, right? I fall down. When you fall down, CJ's animation gets interrupted and he does like a falling animation because, you know, he's falling or whatever. And this animation can actually interrupt putting the phone down. So here, the thing glitched out. Do you see it? I see it. It was hard to demonstrate because it's really fast. But I like fell down a little bit and then I'm like sprinting immediately. And what's funny about this is CJ is still holding the phone in his hand. So this is a way that you can just hold the phone in your hand until you switch weapons. But yeah, that's just to skip the phone animation. Yeah, I'm still holding it, look. I do that quite a few times in the run to try to skip the animation of the phone call. Alright, continuing on. So this is 9s and AKs. In this mission, there's a bunch of bottles and you're supposed to shoot them. It's like a shooting tutorial mission. So obviously I want to shoot the bottles as quickly as possible to pass the mission. But after you shoot the bottle, like here, they talk. And while they're talking, I can't do anything. So while they're talking, I just shoot Big Smoke or whatever the other guy's name is, I don't remember. Emmett. So I just sit there, I shoot all the bottles as quickly as possible, one shot, crouch, and then shoot the rest. I kind of missed a little bit. And then I just shoot Smoke or Emmett while I'm waiting. And again, that's to train pistol skill. Because I'm going to use the pistol as my primary weapon for like half of Los Santos. And yeah, having like higher skill in it is helpful because there's less recoil, as I said earlier. So shoot one, then crouch. The reason I shoot one and then crouch is because crouching just reduces recoil. But if I haven't shot yet, there's no recoil. So I might as well shoot one bottle and then crouch, if that makes any sense. Alright, so shoot that guy.
You're a killer, baby.
So I'm very close to leveling up my pistol skill now. A few more shots with the pistol and it should level up. A few more shots that hit, I should say, and it will level up.
What are you talking about?
Alright, so not too much interesting here, just driving. I am going to try to turn the car around when I hit the marker so I can drive it away later. And I do a decently good job of it. Too good a job, if anything. The car, like, spins too much. So I'm going to have to, like, struggle to drive it away or whatever. Alright, here's another phone call that's forced on you. Yeah, so I run straight to the car. And then this here is supposed to be the clothes tutorial. So what I'm supposed to do is I'm supposed to drive into this marker, go inside the shop. Oh, and I'm going to turn the car around again here, by the way. There we go. You got to drive into the shop, buy some clothes, and then come out. But it turns out you don't actually need to buy any clothes. All you need to do is walk into the shop and watch this cutscene. So as soon as that happens, I just turn around and leave. Like, no clothes for you. Alright, and then, yeah, respect class. Honking the theme tune, good stuff. And then, yep, drive to the next mission. So this is Oglok. Oh, there's a replay. Yep, there's no replay. So this is Oglok. Whoops, I punched the microphone quite a lot just then. That's going to keep happening, I'm sorry. I'm not used to having it this close to my face. Anyway, Oglok. This is one of the longest missions in Los Santos, I think. You drive around a hell of a lot doing things. There's a few details. So, again, I'm despawning traffic. So this here, for whatever reason, this fade out when you drive into this marker is one of the longest fade outs in the game. So I think playing a replay into this marker saves like 4 seconds or something. It's something stupid like that. I don't know the exact number, but it's quite a long time. So yeah, that's this is one of the first things people were playing replays into. Alright, so skip all those cutscenes instantly, turn around annoyingly. The cutscene like turns your car around no matter what you do. You're always facing south. Now here I get a bit unlucky with traffic, and you may be wondering why I didn't just despawn it when I first saw it or re-rolled it or whatever. Well, the problem is I despawned these cars that were here, right, because they were kind of in my way, but then more spawn down the road because of it here. The problem is I can't despawn these cars because to my right here there's an escalator. That sounds really random, but for whatever reason, if you flick the camera up and down to respawn traffic near escalators, the game has a chance to crash. And I'm not sure why, but it happens. So I can't actually despawn these cars here because I could crash the game because of that escalator to my right. So I have to just accept the traffic I'm given and just sneak past them. Thankfully I don't hit the cop and get a wanted star or anything like that. Told you this is going to be all sorts of little tiny details. So here I'm despawning again because I need to cut across this motorway. And then we go up round here. Ooh, bounce on that curb a little bit. Hit that lamppost, unfortunately. Yeah, I kind of tried to carry too much speed through there. Right, here's another replay. This one does a funny thing, though. Look at CJ's animation when I spawn in. Do you see? I'm, like, floating. I'm in the driving animation still. And I'm, like, locked in place, and I'm, like, wiggling around. For whatever reason, if you play a replay here, this happens. I don't know why. Now, there's another small detail that's going to happen here. I did this once earlier in the run during the pizza mission, but I didn't talk about it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to switch to the nightstick. It's not required to use the nightstick for this, but it just makes it easier for me because I can see what's happening. But in this game, there's like a melee combat system. There's like a bunch of different attacks and stuff you can do. And one of the moves you can do is blocking, right? I know nobody ever uses this because everybody just shoots everybody, but there's actually like a pretty detailed melee system. What I'm going to do is I'm going to run up these stairs and into the marker. And this marker is an on-foot marker. It's like a little tiny circle. And it doesn't stop you moving. So you have to, like, stop moving before the marker will trigger, which is really annoying, because it means you have to slow down before it. But what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to use the nightstick to visually aid me. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the melee block. So I'm going to hold right click. I'm going to draw a mouse now. I'm going to hold right click. And I'm going to press left shift. I don't know why I'm drawing these, but I am. This is too much fun. That's terrible. What even is this? Alright, sure. So I'm going to like press left, hold right click and press left shift. And that's going to, if you pay attention to CJ's animation, I'm going to like do a blocking animation and I'll stop. My momentum will be like stopped instantly when I do it. So here it is. Bam, like that. It didn't even work. Kind of. I don't know, whatever. But it like makes it so you just go straight into the marker and it triggers instantly. We need to rewind because something else is happening here at the same time as well. Let's see. So replay, I'm floating a little bit, and I do the block. Yeah, it kind of works. Now, earlier I talked about, I won't rewind all the way, but earlier I talked about replays, and I have a fast replay because I recorded one right after a cutscene that didn't have a fade out. Here I'm going to do something weird. This cutscene does have a fade out. You see how it's like completely black now. It does have a fade out, but I'm going to record a new replay. But you can't record replays until the fade out is ended. So I'm going to wait for this fade out to happen, and then I'm going to press F2 to record the replay. I'm overwriting my fast replay with what we would call a slow replay, because this replay is really slow, because there's a fade out and everything. But there's another element to replays that you use in speedruns. So, if you've ever played a GTA game, a lot of people have experienced this, where like you're looking for like a certain car. Say there's like a car you really like a Cheetah or an Infernus or something, right? And you're looking around for this car for ages and you just can't find it and you really want it until eventually you find one, right? And you're like, oh my god, it's a Cheetah or whatever, right? And then you steal it and you start driving it around. And then after that, you see cheetahs everywhere. Like, it seems like they suddenly spawn everywhere for some reason. It was like so impossible to find one, and now they're everywhere, right? This happens in almost every GTA game to people. What causes this is because the game can only load like so many cars into memory at once. So say it can load like 3 cars into memory, right? It can load more than that, obviously, but let's just say 3 cars, right? You're on a car or a vehicle at all times, right? So the car that you're driving, it has to load, right? So whatever you're driving, it's going to load. It has to load it because you're on it, right? I hope you see where I'm going with this, right? So then one slot of the like limited slots of cars that it can load is always going to be the vehicle that you're on because you're on it, right? So what's happening when you finally find that rare car that you were looking for, right, and you steal it, you're then in it, and it's always loaded, right, and the game just uses its pool of, like, vehicles it has loaded as the random cars it spawns on the road, because it can't spawn a vehicle it hasn't loaded, right, and it can only load so many. So what's happening is the vehicle you're on is being loaded, and then because of that, it's being spawned into traffic because it's loaded, right? Now, where am I going with this? This is really elaborate. Another element to this is that any car that you see also has to be loaded, right? As well as the ones you're on. Now, when I play the replay, yeah, the game has to load the vehicles that are in the replay, okay? Do you see where I'm going with this? So I just got onto a Pcj, right, which is a speedy bike. There's my best drawing of a bike. There you go. This is a speedy bike, and more importantly, it's a very common bike. This bike can spawn like almost everywhere. It's really common. What I did here is that I recorded a replay of me on this bike, and now whenever I play the replay, the game is forced into loading this Pcj that I was riding. And then because the game loaded the Pcj, it's now one of the vehicles that it could spawn, right? Because it's loaded it. It might as well use it for spawning, right? So by using the replays and watching replays of specific vehicles, you can't You can't guarantee the game will spawn it, but you can encourage it to spawn it, right? Like, you're really increasing the likelihood of finding a vehicle. So, while I have made a much slower replay here that I can't use to skip fade-outs because it's too long, it'll be slower than watching the fade-out, what I can do is I can spawn PCJs with it. And that's what happened there in, like, that instant when all of that happened at once. So I now have a Pcj replay, and I'm going to use it. I'm going to overcome the limitation of a slow Pcj replay later, but we'll cover that when I get there. Anyway, here's Freddy. I'm following him. In this game, or, well, in most GTAs, when there's a person in a vehicle that you're supposed to follow, they have a bunch of, like, big invisible circles around them, right? For, like, distance detection. And what Rockstar do is that when you're, like, really close to the guy you're chasing, so say I'm inside, like, what the hell is that? Say I'm inside, like, there's me. Say I'm inside the closer circle, right? If I'm really close to him, he's gonna go a lot faster to try to get away from me. If I'm out here, and I'm just okay about it, I'm out here in the further away circle, he's going to go at normal speeds because I'm just keeping up with him, right? And if I'm really far away from him, this isn't quite far enough because obviously I can't draw that far enough away. But say I'm really far away from him and I'm really sad, oh, I'm too slow, I'm really bad at this game, right? He'll slow down to let me catch up, okay? And a lot of, like, chasing NPCs in the game work like this. So you want to be, like, as close as possible to him to make him go as fast as possible. So here, when I'm chasing him, I'm trying to stay as close as possible, and he's going really fast because of it. You may see him, like, speed up and slow down and stuff constantly. So I'm following him here, trying to stay as close as possible to get him to move. But then importantly, I'm going to do something different here. So in this mission, what you're trying to do is you're trying to kill this guy, as you would guess. And what you're supposed to do is follow him all around, like, Los Santos and stuff. You go for a really long drive all the way around Los Santos while you wait for Oglok to shoot him, right? That's really slow and painful and would take probably like 2 minutes or something. So what I'm going to do instead here is I'm going to abuse the fact that this guy has, like, circles of distance around him, right? And what I'm going to do here is when he goes down this alleyway, I'm going to turn left. Now, I know where he's going to go. If you look at the minimap down here, he's going to go along here, then he's going to turn left and go along here, and then he's going to go down this road and turn here like this. That's his path that he's going to take. But I know that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn left here, and I'm going to go down this road, and then I'm going to do like a 180, and I'm going to point, like, this way. I'm going to point down the road, and I'm going to sit on the corner and wait for him. And then as soon as he, because I'm driving away from him like this, he's slowing down. So I have loads of time to, like, get into position. So you can see how slow he's going on the map. Look, he's barely moving. So I turn around, sit in this position right next to this lamppost, and now he's going to drive past me. And as soon as he gets here, I'm going to unload, like, all of my micro SMG ammo. Not all of it, but a lot of it. And I set his bike on fire like this. So this is like the Freddy quick kill, the Oglok skip, whatever you want to call it. So he's going to blow up eventually and die, and then I'll move on to the next part of the mission. So again, he's got to keep following this route and drive this way. But I don't care anymore. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, like, turn down this way and go this way like this. That's because I know where I need to go next, and it's like the other side of the town. So I'm going to drive this way and head towards the motorway, basically. There's the motorway right here. Then this fade out happens, bloody blah. Now, this point here is a really important part of the run. This is where luck has a really big part of the run. So this is one of the longest drives in the game that uses a random road vehicle. So a lot in the run, I'll use like set spawns or stored vehicles or other stuff for really long drives. I'll keep a fast vehicle and I'll use it for like, you know, when I know I need to go a long distance. But here, we're in the middle of nowhere and we don't have any vehicles and there's no resources or anything. And we have to carry Freddy to the other side of the map. Around this corner, in a garage, there is an NRG, which is like the fastest bike in the game. But the problem is we have Freddy with us, Oglok, sorry. We have Oglok with us, who's gonna, when you have a passenger, you go really slowly on bikes, so I won't bother explaining. So basically I'm just stuffed, and I have to find a random road vehicle. I have a Pcj Replay, but again, bikes aren't really that fast, because Oglok's on the back of the bike. So here, right here, I'm gonna turn the camera around, and I have to make a very fast decision on the first vehicle I see, whether I'm going to take it or try to spawn another vehicle. So I turn around, and I find... Okay, this isn't... I thought I was going to see a Bobcat. Never mind. Well, I turn around, and I see a Hermes. Now, this vehicle is like one of the most common ones to spawn here, and it's actually alright. So I make the decision to just steal this vehicle and go with it. But the thing is, this is like a really big luck point in the run. So I could have found like a Blade, which is probably the fastest vehicle I could have found, or a police car or something like that. Or I could have found like a Bobcat or a Perennial or something really slow, right? So I got decently lucky. This is pretty okay. It's like a, yeah, the Hermes. It's alright. It's perfectly fine. It has like decent acceleration and speed and stuff. But the brakes are terrible, but that's alright. Again, I'm despawning and stuff, yada yada yada. Yeah. Hopefully all of the like pausing of the video and stuff calms down as we go on, because I'm going to explain a bunch of fundamental concepts, right? So eventually I can stop pausing and shit. And I swore again, whatever. Screw the advertising. Alright, so here, right as I drive up to this point, I'm going to play a replay here. This is the really slow Pcj replay I have. And I played it right there to try to load PCJs so that they will spawn in the car park behind the burger shop. I saw a Perennial here, but there is actually a PCJ in the second car park spot on the left. So I'm going to turn my head and look, then I get a glimpse of the PCJ, I see it, so I know it's there. So then I turn around and go get the PCJ. Had this PCJ not spawned, what I could have done is played the replay as I walked into the marker, and then I would have re-rolled the like car park RNG there. Anyway, other things happening here. Oh, there's just so much happening. So I took a weird route here. I drove like, I need to go to the beach party over here, but I drove down here and then down this way and then across like this, which isn't the fastest way. The fastest way would just be across like this and then cross like that. What I'm actually doing is I'm driving through Grove Street territory over here and not through Baller territory, because I want Grove Street guys to spawn, because I'm going to do a trick here. So here's some Grove Street. I'm going to recruit them here, and you know, the bike and stuff. Also, I have a PCJ, which is very important. A lot is going to happen here in a short space of time. So here's the party. In the party, you need to dance for a girl so that you can steal her van and drive away with it. I'm not going to do any of that because that's slow. And also, another part of the party is that there's a big circle around it. And if you get within this circle, a cutscene happens. And this cutscene has no fade out at the end of it. And I'm on a PCJ. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drive close enough to the party. This cutscene's going to play. And then I'm going to time skipping the cutscene and pressing F2 at the same time to record a replay. So there, the cutscene just ended, and as soon as that happens, I press the replay record button, and I record a replay of a Voodoo, another Voodoo, whatever the hell this car is, a Pony, whatever the hell this car is, and a PCJ, all at the same time, right? And all of these cars are pretty decent, they're like fine, but more importantly, I have a PCJ. So now I have a fast PCJ replay instead of just a slow one like I had earlier. And I can go back to skipping fade outs and stuff now. Now, here's the marker that you're supposed to walk into in order to start the mission. But I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to run over here and I'm going to try to get into the van. But the van's locked and I can't get in. But the way that this van is locked, there's like several ways that doors can be locked in San Andreas. There's locked for everyone, locked for CJ, and not locked at all. And this door is just locked for CJ. NPCs can go in. It's like not locked for them. They all have keys or whatever. So they can get in the car, which is how the woman that you impress with like dancing or whatever can get into the van. But I have a homie, and a homie's an NPC, and homies try to get into the car that you're getting into. So what I'm doing is I'm spamming get into the car, and even though I can't do it, the homie is gonna try to get in, and he's just gonna open the door like it's nothing. As soon as he opens this door, I'm holding the button to like cancel the gang group or whatever. So I'm cancelling the gang group, and he's no longer in my gang anymore, but he's sat in the car. So he's like, oh, this is a nice car, or whatever, while he's sat in there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to run over here, like this, so I'm far enough away from the party that if I shoot a gun, I won't fail the mission because I don't scare anyone. And then I'm going to shoot him in the face. Now, something very important when you shoot someone in the face happens. They die. But more importantly, dead people can't close doors. Right? So now the door is wide open, right? The door is open, and open doors can't be locked. Right? So what I'm going to do now is just get into the van through the open door like that. And that's how you skip this mission. I also got pistol skill, which is nice. So my handgun skill is maximum now. Not maximum, it's gangster level now. But yeah, that's how you skip Life's a Beach. You get the homie into the car and then shoot him in the face, and he falls out, and then you can get in the door that he fell out like that. I made a tutorial video on it. I don't know, go watch that. But anyway, this isn't a tutorial series. I'm just showing you things. And you do need to be careful though, because the doors are still technically locked. So if I were to get out and close the passenger side door, I won't be able to get into the van. So I had to be very careful to not do that. But anyway, we're just driving. Not too much happens here. I'm going to skip forwards a bit. Yada yada yada. Here's another marker. I'm going to play the replay into the marker again, like that. You see how short that replay is? It's like crazy. But I don't find a PCJ, I don't think. I just find a random vehicle, a Greenwood. Moving on. Driving around. Yeah. Here's this jump that I don't quite nail or whatever. Now, here I'm going to get a phone call. And it's kind of a long phone call, so I like stop before the marker, answer the phone call, and I should have stopped a bit earlier, but yeah, whatever. Here's this cutscene, whatever. Right, so I start running dog, skip the phone call, whatever. Get into the car. So in this mission, there's a guy that you need to kill. It's like, this is the sprinting tutorial mission, 20 minutes into the game. That's right, I'm only 20 minutes into this run, but it's been like an hour and 20 of this stream. Oh, I don't know how long the actual YouTube video is, though. Anyway. So I'm going to drive over to this marker, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to basically run up to the guy and shoot him in the face as quick as possible. I don't remember if I actually pull it off. Let's see. There's a backup strat if I don't. So, run around here. Aim the gun. I have pistol skills, so it's more accurate. There we go. Shoot that guy in the face, and that's map mission done. Nice and easy. Nothing too complicated here. There's a backup strat where you can steal a car and then run him over, but yeah, whatever. And then I got a Tahoma, which is a pretty fast car, which I'm happy about, but this spawns pretty commonly over there, so it's kind of whatever. Alright, didn't get out of the car. That was kind of weird. Alright, drive-by. Right, in this mission, you're supposed to drive by a bunch of guys, right? So you drive next to them and wait for your friends to shoot them. Unfortunately, your friends are really shit shots, so it's actually faster to just run people over. So that's what I'm going to do. But there's also another side effect thing that happens here, a little detail. I'm going to play a replay into this marker here, and for some reason that will break the final cutscene of this mission. I don't know why. Anyway, I'm just going to run people over here. I only hit one, but that's alright, they shot most of them. Then I look backwards to make sure that these guys actually spawn. Ran over 2 there, that was pretty good. And around the corner, run over these 2. Nice, nice. Kill them, yada yada. Next, yeah. I'm trying to time, like, accelerating to when that guy dies. And then I'm going to kill these guys and then turn around. And I forgot to fill my water before this started. Now, you get 2 stars here and police start chasing you. Oh wow, I messed that up. I was about to say I'm trying to drive through that little shortcut, but I messed it up, whatever. Yeah, you get 2 stars, and the game tells you to go to the paint spray to get rid of them. I don't think you actually need to use the paint spray. I think you can use like bribe stars instead, but I want to use the paint spray, so because it's fast. So I just go here, paint spray, whatever. Now I'm going to do something weird here. So I've lost the wanted level, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to shoot like that, and I'm going to get my wanted level back. Now the game doesn't actually check to see whether you get your wanted level back or not. It just thinks that you've lost it and you've gone to the paint spray, so I can keep going in the mission. But I want 2 stars here because I'm going to do something really fancy. So there's a police car there. I'm going to drive with this marker. Now pay attention to this cutscene. It's kind of broken. Ryder gets out immediately, which he isn't supposed to do, and it makes like this cutscene way shorter. So it's kind of broken because and that's because I played a replay into the marker earlier for some reason. Anyway, a lot's going to happen here. So I have 2 stars right here. But as soon as the mission passes, I'm going to lose the 2 stars. So what I'm doing is I'm walking up to here, and I'm going to look this way. So I'm looking away from the road so that police officers can spawn, because I'm not looking at the road, so they can spawn behind me. And as soon as the mission passes, these 2 stars are going to get removed. And then I'm going to shoot the cops. So I'm going to turn around like this. As soon as the wanted stars go away, I turn around. And I don't have any wanted stars anymore. And I'm going to shoot these 2 police officers in this car. And then I'm going to get 2 stars again. Now, why would I ever want 2 stars? Well, for some reason, when this mission happens here, like this, when you spawn, I'm holding the look backwards key right now. So I'm like looking backwards and running backwards into Grove Street. And for whatever reason, if you have 2 stars during this mission and you look backwards and run like this, a police bike will spawn. So I'm just going to take this police bike and I'm going to use it for the mission. Now, you might be wondering, why go through all of the trouble just to get a police bike here? Like, sure, it's a bike and it's recently fast, but why not just drive the Greenwood or whatever? Here's another fundamental San Andreas knowledge thing. Okay, where do I start? So the AIs in this game, they have like an accuracy level to their guns, and it's like, I think it's expressed as a percentage. So AIs basically have a % chance to hit you or not. And in these early Los Santos missions, it's like a pretty low chance, I don't know, like 30 or something. And it doesn't actually matter like how big a target you are or where you're like stood or anything like that, I don't think. I think cover helps, but I'm not sure. But anyway, all that stuff doesn't really matter. They just have a % chance to hit you or not. So every time they pull the trigger, they roll like a 100-sided dice, and if it's like higher than percentage, whatever, they might hit you, yeah? And that's all well and good. And missions will set like custom hit rates. So if you're just playing open world or whatever, everyone will have like a 50% chance or something, I don't know. But these early missions will make it a bit easier and make the enemies less accurate. But unfortunately, there's another thing that changes accuracy of AIs, and it's cars. And boats, I think. But we'll just worry about cars for now. Whenever you get into a car, I guess because when you're in a car, you're like a bigger object, so it makes more sense for the AIs to be able to hit you more. Whenever you get into a car, all the AIs' accuracy is increased to like really high, like, I don't know, 80% or something like that. I'm not sure what the number is, but it's increased really high. They have a really high chance to hit you because, again, there's no like physics calculation happening or anything. It's just a chance to hit you or not. But because you're in a big vehicle, they have like a really, you're a big object. It's easy to hit you, blah, blah, blah. That's all well and good. But the problem is, they don't, when you get out of the car, the number is supposed to reset. for whatever reason, in missions that set custom AI accuracies, so like this mission where these guys have like a 30% chance or whatever, when you get into the car sets it to like 80 or whatever, but when you get out, it doesn't reset. And for as long as your previous vehicle that was loaded was a car, all of the enemies will have really high accuracy. So this is called the car AI accuracy bug, and it means like there's certain missions in the game where you really don't want to be in a car or have used a car at any point. And this is one of them. So by doing this trick with the wanted stars, I'm guaranteeing that I'm going to have a motorbike. And bikes don't suffer from this glitch. Maybe they raise the accuracy a little bit, but because it's a motorbike, you know, not that big an object, so they don't raise it as much. So that's why it's really important to use a bike for missions like this. So that's why I went through all the trouble to get the 2 stars, and that's why I got the bike. So if you ever try and do these runs and you just get absolutely murdered by the AIs, it might be because you're using cars. Anyway, kill these guys, pick up this ammo that's here because I need it later. And then I'm looking around for a fast car. I don't see any, so I just have to use the Greenwood. I need a car here because Sweet and his girlfriend are gonna come out and I need to like, I need to drive them back to Grove Street, obviously. Also, weird little detail here. In this mission, when you're driving back to Grove Street, they slow your car down for some reason. They make it so your car is really slow, like it's half speed or something. I'm not sure why. Happens if you use a police car as well. But yeah, they just slow you down. So I am driving really quickly, it's just the car is really slow. And then I try to jump out here. Yep, I managed to do it. Jumping out there just makes it so the cutscene starts faster, pretty much. That's all it is, really. Now here, I'm going to do something specific. When I walk into this marker, I'm going to wait for the cutscene to start, like this. So the cutscene started because I could see the people in it. And as soon as the cutscene started, then I'm going to skip it. For some reason, if you skip that cutscene too quickly, the Greenwood and this push bike don't spawn if you skip it too quickly. But I want to use the bike for this mission. So I like wait for that cutscene to happen before I skip it. Oh, nice driving, idiot. I don't want the bike for like car AI accuracy or anything like that. It's just because this drive is really short and bikes are really nimble and accelerate a lot. So it's just like easier to just drive here on the bike. Shoot these 2 fences so I can get through them. And then play a replay and jump off the bike there to make the cutscene start faster. Now here, I'm going to drive into this, I've driven into this workshop, and where you can customize lowriders, and I'm going to customize it really quickly. Here we go. Did you miss it? That looks really impressive, like I'm menuing really quickly, but all you actually do is press up once and then spam spacebar and then press F a bunch. But what I did is I added flames to the car and I also gave it nitrous. The flames are for speed, but the nitrous is just for fun. Alright, so driving to the meet, yada yada yada. I guess I could skip this because it's just a dancing mission. Taking a certain route, going down here. Yeah, here's the dancing mission. So you think you can low ride or whatever. So there is one little thing here. The marker, the arrows here are a little messed up at the start. I don't quite know why this happens. If your arrows are really laggy, that's because you haven't restarted your computer recently enough. This mission uses your computer uptime to calculate where the arrows should be. I'm not joking. So if you don't restart your computer for a very long time, you get like floating point precision errors and the arrows like jerk around. So if that happens, maybe turn your computer off, Steve. Alright, anyway. Just dancing, nothing really interesting happening here. Blah, 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 blah. I take a break. I basically like go to sleep during this mission. Alright, okay, good. Mission over. Alright. So... running over here. So this wall here is a little tricky to jump up, but I have like a reference point. There's like a little, I'm not going to bother showing it to you, but there's a little dot on the ground, like a little smudge that I'm using to climb it. And I'm going to answer a phone call here, and you see this little bit that sticks out here. I'm going to walk into it when I answer the phone call and fall down. That skips the animation of the phone call, and I also don't take any fall damage if you walk into that little like lip bit there. Little details. It's also faster because you don't do a stumbling animation when you land. Anyway, this is a race. I'm not going to bother following Caesar because that's slow. Just going to drive all the way along here. And there's another marker that I'm going to play a replay into. Whole bunch of replays in this run. There you go. Now here, I have a very specific plan. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grind up against Caesar's car. And that doesn't sound fast, but sometimes what can happen when you grind up against cars is that it just flings you forwards a little bit. It just gives you a bit more like forwards momentum or speed or position or whatever. And then I'm going to try to drive around the side of these four guys here along the pavement. What can mess this up is if AI cars spawn, these guys will try to drive around them. And then if I'm also trying to drive down the pavement, I'll hit them or whatever. So I need to be careful and like despawn cars here. So you can see there's a bunch of cars in the distance. I don't actually despawn them. Okay, well, screw me, I guess. And I got lucky with where they spawned, so it wasn't really a problem. And yeah, I just drove past them. That's the plan. As soon as you get past them, I'm just home free, right? And I just drive around the corners. I love explaining things and then not actually doing them. It's great. I did this run yesterday. You'd think I'd remember some things, but apparently I don't. Alright, so just lots of despawning and lots of driving. Nothing too interesting here. Let's skip forwards a bit. Again, if you want to watch the whole run in full, there's a link to it in the description. And I also talk live, obviously. Now, here is an important point. There's a mechanic in this game with food, and you can starve if you don't eat enough. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to run around here and grab a chili dog. This heals me, because I wasn't full health. But it also makes it so that I don't starve a little later into Los Santos. And when you're starving, you like lose health slowly, and it can kill you. But having the extra health is also very beneficial, because I'm going to need it later. And yeah, that chili dog is like really convenient, because it's right at the end of this. And I can just run and get it. The chili dogs are way better than like going inside Burger Shot or something, because then I have to like go inside an interior and talk to a person, get the food, and then walk back out and stuff. It's really slow. Way better to just eat the chili dogs. Alright. This Mad Dog's Rhymes. Is this Mad Dog's Rhymes? I'm pretty sure it is. So this mission is like the introduction to stealth or whatever. And I'm gonna sort of do stealth, but only because they force me into it. So, in this mission, at the beginning, you can't use any of your weapons. They lock you into a knife, and everyone else has, like, guns. So you kind of have to stealth. Oh yeah, I'm driving up the hill with the Voodoo. But I'm also not really going to stealth that properly. What I'm going to do instead is I'm just going to use well-positioned and well-timed jumps to get past people. So here, I'm going to jump like that. And when I jump like that, whoops, when I'm in the air and jumping, the guy can't hear you, right? Because you're not making any sound because you're jumping. So I walk up to him until he's about to hear me jump, and I like sneak past him like that. Sure, he shoots me a little bit, but I get mostly past him. This guy wanders around the swimming pool, and I just jump to go around it faster. He doesn't really shoot me. Then the same again here. I'm going to jump. He's going to hear me jump, look around, be confused, and then I'm going to jump past him. And it shoots me a little bit. Then these guys I am actually going to kind of stealth past by just walking past, but one last minute jump there. He hears me, but I'm already around the wall. Now, this armor here, this armor never respawns, ever. It has, like, no respawning. So once you pick that armor up once, you better pass the mission, because you ain't going to pick it up again. And then here's the book. After you pick up the book, I can now use weapons. And now I'm doing something interesting. You may notice that I'm going really quickly and I'm holding the weapon kind of weird. This is called sliding. It's a glitch what you can do with certain weapons in this game, where you can basically like sort of sprint and use the weapon at the same time. It's not as fast as like straight up sprinting, but when I'm inside that interior, I can't sprint because I'm in reasons I won't bother explaining, but I can't sprint while I'm in there. So that means the next fastest way of moving is sliding. So I use the spray can, which is the only weapon I have for sliding at that point, and then I like just slide past everyone. So if we go back, so what I do is as soon as I pick up this book, I switch to the spray can, and to slide, I won't go into too much detail, but basically you like crouch, aim, and sprint at the same time. If you want to know more, there's like tutorials. I'm sure you could just Google it and find it. But yeah, I crouch, sprint, and aim at the same time, and then I get this bugged movement. And now I can like move and spray like at a really high speed. Not as fast as just straight up sprinting, but I can't sprint indoors, so it's alright. So I'm just spraying these people so they don't shoot me. It's important to have as much health here as possible, because I'm going to need it for later. And I actually end up having loads of health at the end of this, which is nice. Alright, so take the push bike. Now this is the awkward ride off of the mountain. Very carefully. I don't remember. Do I fall off the bike here? No, I land it. Nice. Good. Now here's something funny happens. So I've played a Pcj replay to try to make Pcj spawn. And in fact there is a Pcj way in the distance. Because I want a Pcj here. And I wanted to just go right up to that one and steal it. But I accidentally hit this taxi. And I'm like, uh-oh, that's bad. I turn around to get my bike. And there's just another Pcj here. So I was like, okay, fine, I'll take that one. And then another one spawns there. It's just PCJs everywhere because of the replays. But yeah, I was playing replays a bunch to try to get them to spawn during that mission. So, got another PCJ. And yeah, I'm going to use it for the end of this mission and the start of the next one. That nice limo spawn really blocks me there, which is quite annoying. I'm losing time here. I want to drive the PCJ into the marker so that it doesn't despawn. And it like spawns in the middle of the car park. And I'm going to use that. Alright. So, into here. So, take the PCJ. In this mission, you need to steal a car from a guy, fix it because it will be damaged, and then drive to a place and kill a guy or whatever, blah blah blah. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use a glitch to be able to steal the car without damaging it. Now, I'll let it play, and I want you to try to figure out how I kill this guy. So, I'm going to run over here, get inside the door, get in the car, and he's dead. That's it. If you just get into the car without killing him, he will like shoot the car and then you have to get it fixed before you can continue. But there's this really weird glitch where if you get inside the passenger door of a car that doesn't have a passenger, okay, actually forget that. If you get into a passenger side door and there's a driver, if you leave the door open by holding the sprint key or some other keys do it, which you do naturally as a speedrunner anyway, because leaving doors open is faster than closing them. But for whatever reason, if you get into the car on the passenger side and leave the door open, you instantly kill the driver. I'm not sure why. I guess it's because you sit on them and they don't have enough time to get out or something. I really don't know. But for whatever reason, leaving the passenger side door just insta-kills the driver. What if you watch this run and you don't know that? Sometimes you don't even notice that the driver is dying every time you do that. But here and high noon, it's actually relevant. So yeah, this makes it so the car isn't damaged, so you can just drive straight to the end. But yeah, that's a really interesting glitch. I like that glitch a lot because it really shows that like lots of people that don't like glitched speedruns, they don't know that I'm doing glitches all the time, right? Like they just get annoyed with duping and stuff like that. They don't actually know about all the little things I'm doing constantly, right? But they don't care because they don't know about it and they'll happily watch the run, right? And this run is in fact no major glitches, and I've just realized I don't explain what no major glitches is, but never mind. But yeah, I basically, yeah, I'm just still using lots of little glitches all the time. Anyway, speaking of sort of glitches, what I'm doing here is I'm driving a very specific route, and I'm trying to get away from those 2 guard cars, and then I'm going to drown the guy in, like, this water here. What you're supposed to do is drive to the pier and drown him in that, but you can drown him way earlier. But if you're not fast enough, and the 2 guys catch up to you, these 2 guys, well, you only ever see one because I'm looking forwards all the time, but there's like a guy here and a guy behind me. If you're not far enough away from them when you kill the guy, you have to fight these guys and kill them. And it's really annoying because there's 4 guys in each car, so it's like 8 guys you have to kill. And they're driving all around and stuff, and it's really annoying. But yeah, thankfully I pull off the strat correctly, driving this way to like confuse the AI, because they can't really drive down that alleyway very well. And then you just drown the guy as quickly as possible. Now another thing happens here, which is really lucky. I'm looking around for a PCJ, because this is another point in the run where I have to use a random vehicle for a long period of time, and having a fast one's beneficial, and having a bike is beneficial for the AI accuracy glitch. And I get really lucky and find a PCJ in the car park, which is nice. Now, I'm doing another thing here. It's kind of a little weird. I'm stealing this car, and I drive up to this marker, and then I get out, and then I jump on top of the car. What I'm doing here is I'm waiting for a phone call, and then I'm going to use the car. I'm going to use falling off of the car to cancel the phone call animation, like that, so I can trigger the mission quicker. So that's all that slam band was for. And now I'm going to, yeah, use the PCJ and drive to the next mission. If I didn't get a PCJ here, I have to do like a different phone call strategy. Whoa, that was really lucky. If I don't get a PCJ there, I have to do a different phone call strategy, which is slightly slower, and then I might have to use a car and stuff. But because I got really lucky and found a PCJ, yeah, I could do the fast strat here. So, you may recall at the beginning of the run, I was talking about how I needed a police car to get a shotgun. I never actually found a police car at the beginning of the game, so I never got a shotgun. So this is the backup strat here. In this mission, this open police car spawns, and I can just get in it and get a shotgun. There are certain vehicles in this game that when you get in them, an effect gets triggered. So if you get inside a taxi, for example, you'll get a little bit of money. But when you get inside a police car, you get given 5 shotgun ammo. So that's what I'm doing here. I just get into it, drive it over to the bike, get out, and I now have 5 shotgun ammo. So that's all that was for. So that's the backup strat for not finding a shotgun in Big Smoke. Right, so nothing interesting happens here. I just drive to down here. In this mission, I need to burn a bunch of things. It's like the burning tutorial. So I get given the Molotovs or whatever. Keep driving. Oop, that guy hits me. That's kind of annoying. So again, I have the bike and not a car. If I don't find a bike or I don't find a fast car or anything, the backup is using that police car that I just got in. But obviously it's a car and will give me the car AI accuracy bug. Right, so here I'm going to shoot these 2 fences here. So there's like a line of fences here and a line of fences here. And I'm going to shoot this fence and this fence. It's kind of a messy drawing. But I'm shooting the corner here like this, so that when I'm going to set a window of fire here, and then I'm going to go here, and I'm going to set a window of fire here, and then I'm going to go this way. And if I shoot this fence now, I don't have to climb it, basically. So I just shoot that as I drive past. Now, park here. If I'm low health and I don't have a bike, I will actually set these guys on fire so that they don't shoot me. But because I have loads of health and I took a bike, they're not going to kill me, so I just ignore them, basically, and just go as quickly as possible. So set these windows on fire, run through the fence that I broke. Yeah, ignore this guy, because, yeah, bike and loads of health. Set these windows on fire. The guy hit me a little bit, but it doesn't matter. I have so much health. I'm perfectly fine. Right, little cutscene. Right, so here, this is what I wanted the shotgun for. So I've switched to the shotgun, and now I'm going to do the slide with the shotgun. You may be wondering why I don't just use the spray can to do the slide here, but that's because this fire extinguisher replaces the spray can weapon. So I could slide to this fire extinguisher, but then I wouldn't be able to slide after it. Well, I mean, I could with the fire extinguisher, but that's kind of crap. And I need the shotgun for later anyway. So I'm just going to use the shotgun, slide through this building, which again is faster than just walking, but not faster than sprinting, but I can't sprint. Then put all these fires out as quick as possible. Now, in the run prior to this, Denise really screwed me, so I'm like being very careful that she's actually following me, which she is. But Denise can get like lost in certain rooms and stuck on objects and stuff like that. And you may notice I only put the big fire out there. That's because Denise only cares about the scripted fires. She doesn't care about the random ones. So I'm just ignoring all the random fires and just putting the ones out that are like in the way. And I wait until she gets close enough, and as soon as she is, I walk through the door, and out we go. There's like a little reference. There's like a chair next to a door, and as soon as she like touches the chair, I like walk out, and then I know she's close enough. If you leave too early, she'll still be inside the building, and you'll have to go back in and get her, and it's terrible. But yeah, that's my like reference doing that. Now, this cutscene here, the way I parked here is really scary, because Denise is going to get off of the bike to the right, and then she needs to walk to exactly this spot, and the cutscene will not continue until she reaches exactly that spot. If she never reaches that spot, the cutscene will never continue, and you're stuck here forever. Now, this is scary because I parked really far away from it. What can happen is that a random car will just drive up and just park here. It parks like right here. And then Denise will get off, and then she can't get to her spot anymore. She can never get to it. And then we're just stuck here forever. So I wanted to park like here really. But it's also better to just park closer, because then she doesn't have to walk as far, right? But I'm really worried about like soft locking here, but thankfully, a car doesn't come, and she just gets off the bike and just happily walks to her spot. As soon as she hits it, she turns around and talks, and then yeah, cutscene's over. Little details about things that can happen. Alright, next mission. This one's fun. This is Wrong Side of the Tracks, the mission everybody loves. So I'm gonna do the second coolest strat in this mission. There's a cooler one, but I won't describe it. I'll let you use your imagination. Wow, this is some terrible driving. So I'm gonna drive over to the place that you need to go to, and then what's gonna happen is a train is gonna spawn with 4 dudes on top of it, and you need to kill them, and you get given a Sanchez. What you're supposed to do is drive alongside the train and wait until smoke shoots them all. But as with all the missions where you need to wait for your friends to shoot people, they're too slow, so I'm just going to shoot them myself. But Josh, I might hear you ask, how are you going to shoot those guys? They're on top of a train. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to drive straight past the train like this, and I'm going to drive up this little bridge thingy here, onto this building which joins into it, which is kind of weird when you think about it. And I'm going to position myself very carefully and then wait for the train to come past. And then I'm going to drive on top of the train and shoot them. Like this. Now this looks simple enough, but the physics when you're on top of the train are really broken. I won't bother explaining all the details, but it's really hard to control the bike. But thankfully I managed to do it. And that ammo I picked up earlier in Sweet Skull, this is where I use it. I use it here to kill those guys. And that was nice and quick. You may have noticed I said 4 guys, but there are only 3. One of the guys dies scriptedly earlier in the train ride. Alright. So this here, this is the mission where I want handgun skill, or pistol skill, sorry, the most. This is just business. There's going to be a ton of enemies, and I want to shoot them all in the head as quickly as possible. And having handgun ammo is beneficial, as you having handgun skill is beneficial, as you would imagine. So I could use the micro SMG here, but I don't have any micro SMG skill yet, so the micro SMG is really inaccurate. So it's like, I find it's better to just use the pistol here and just shoot people in the head. I'm not doing the best job of it ever. Sometimes I can literally like one shot, one kill every single person here, but that's still perfectly fine. And then walk to the exit, shoot these guys. Yeah, it's a little better. Yeah, it's okay. And then here I just shoot smoke for fun, basically. Yeah, that's just business. Just shoot the people in the face as quick as possible. Sometimes I can do this mission and I have like absolutely no health left after burning desire, so I have to be kind of careful, but in this instance I had a load of health, so I just YOLO'd it, and I still have loads of health because they didn't really shoot me. Now, this is an auto-scroller. I know exactly what's going to happen, where everyone's going to spawn and everything. And I'm just going to shoot a bunch with the micro SMG to train my micro SMG skill, because I'm not doing anything else. So I basically just shoot a bunch until I get gangster level right there. And then after that, I can either just shoot to survive or keep shooting for fun or whatever. But anyway, you've all seen this a million times before, or at least I have, so I'm just going to skip it. I don't really do anything interesting here, I just shoot people or not. Yeah, here I'm taking a break, see? I'm not doing anything, I just chill out until the mission ends. Oh, one small detail though. You know, I need to be careful here to not spin the camera around right here, because I'm going to steal a bike inside a garage to the left. It's like right here. And if I spin the camera around a whole bunch here, I can end up despawning the bike, and then I'll be very sad. So I basically just leave the camera alone in this point.
We lost in smoke? Man, we better split up.
Alright. So, as soon as this cutscene's over, yeah, I'm going to go get the NRG 500, which is the fastest land vehicle in the game. And it's just over here in a car park for some reason. So, ignore the traffic, jump into here, and here's this bike. Now, I'm going to do something that looks really weird here. I won't explain it and see if you can figure it out. I'm just going to drive to here, climb on top of the bike, jump into the corner, and then answer this phone call. Now, if you have keen ears, even though I have this kind of turned down a bit, you may have heard like the bloop of picking up a weapon. If I go back a bit, this is like a multi-story car park or whatever, and there's like another floor above me here, and on the above floor right in this corner there's some grenades right here. What I'm doing is I'm going into the corner and I'm standing on top of the bike and I'm jumping like here and I'm picking the grenades up from the floor above. So I have 20 grenades now. And this is good because I'm waiting for the phone call anyway, so I like literally don't lose any time. Yeah, and then I jump out of the car park, and then I keep driving. But yeah, those grenades are going to be really beneficial because I'm going to use almost all of them for the rest of Los Santos, pretty much. Alright, so driving down the motorway. Again, this is why I wanted this vehicle, because it's like a really long drive, and I'm going to use the bike quite a lot for the rest of Los Santos. So like I said earlier, when I took that Hermes after Oglok, that was like a really long drive I had to do with a random vehicle, but this I'm doing with like a set vehicle. I know exactly how fast I'm going to go, and it's as fast as you possibly can, which is good, right? Alright, long cutscene, nothing interesting happens, yada yada yada. Alright. So, more driving, being kind of careful to not fall off the bike, because, you know, slow and I could theoretically die. This mission here is the gang territory tutorial mission. What I'm going to do is my first grenade, is I'm going to just start the gang war as quickly as possible by blowing up and shooting a bunch of dudes. And now what I'm doing is I'm standing in this exact spot, and I'm looking like this way, so there's like my cone of vision or whatever. In gang wars, when the waves happen, there's like 3 waves that happen of enemies. They only ever spawn where you're not looking, and they can only spawn in like set locations on the roads and stuff like this. It's a bit awkward using red on this red flashingness, but what I'm doing basically is I'm manipulating the spawn of where the guys are going to spawn in the gang war. So by looking this way, I'm making it so they can't spawn on this road, they can't spawn on these roads, they can't spawn over here or anything around here. So where they're going to spawn is exactly here, because they try to go close to you, but they try to go not where you're looking, right? So I'm going to spawn the guys exactly there, So I wait until they pop up on the map. I leave a little early there. They pop on the map. I turn around. I kill them. That's one wave done like that. Take the resources. And then I run back to the same spot, which is like just to the right of this lamppost pretty much on this grass. And then I look this way, wait for them to appear on the map again. There they are. And then turn around, shoot them, and like that. This is obviously very useful to manipulate their spawns like that, because what they try to do is they try to spawn into 2 packs. So say I was actually looking like the other way, right? What they try to do is they try to spawn 2 different groups of enemies. So what they would do is they would probably spawn like here and here, right? Which would be really annoying because then I had to kill like 2 guys and then turn around and kill 2 other guys or whatever. But because I'm looking this way, there's only one place they can spawn, because there's only like one road behind me like this. This bit is too far away, and this bit is too far away, so they can only spawn in one place. So they both groups spawn in the same location, like that. So this is really beneficial to like know where to look and stand to get them to spawn together like that, so you can kill them quickly and on like straight roads and stuff like that. Because if they like spawn around corners and stuff like that, then I have to like run around and it's really annoying. This will obviously be very important later in the game where I have to do like 15 gang territories or whatever it is. But for now it's just this one mission. Anyway, really long cutscene happens. This guy spawns, I throw a grenade at him, run to my bike and just leave. I know exactly where that guy's going to run, so I just throw a grenade in the perfect direction and go. Alright, more driving. Yeah, I don't think anything happens just here. Let's skip forwards. So here's the next mission. This is a pretty fun mission, Grey Imports. Basically, I need to go to a place and there's a dude and I need to kill him. Great description. I'm going to take a little shortcut to the place here by driving down this little storm drain bit. So I'm just going to drive along this storm drain, and then I'm going to come up over here like this, play a replay into the marker. Now there's all these guys outside, right? All these enemies. You've got explosive barrels here, here, and here, and there's like another forklift back here that has some, I think. And there's a bunch of enemies, but I'm just going to ignore them all basically. And there's like this little, maybe if I play it a bit, I'll get closer. There's like this on this keypad on the door. In order to open this door, I need to shoot the keypad. So I just drive up, shoot it. That opens it. And now I'm going to try to drive through this whole building on a bike as quickly as possible. So just drive like this. But unfortunately, my front tire gets popped. Because they're not bulletproof or anything. They can't shoot them. And they shot my tire. So what I had to do is I have to do a back... That was a weird teleport. I have to do a backup strat where I just slide through the building instead. Ideally, what happens is I would use the NRG. I would drive all the way through this building. I would drive up to here. And then this guy here is the big boss I need to kill. But he has lots and lots of health. And if I was to just shoot him, it would take forever to kill him. But there's a thing in this game where if you run someone over at a high enough speed, they will just instantly die no matter what. So the plan is to have the NRG here and just build up enough speed and just splatter him while he's here. And it will just insta-kill him and the mission will pass. But obviously I can't do that when I don't have a front tire, so I just have to run past. But that's okay, because there's a backup strat where there's a PCJ outside that you're supposed to chase him with. He takes that Banshee that's back there. But I'm just going to use the PCJ and just run him over. So here I'll insta-kill him like this. There we go. So he's just instantly dead. There's a big chase that's supposed to happen where he gets into the Banshee and you chase him with PCJ and you shoot a lot and stuff. But yeah, you skip all that just by running him over there. Unfortunately now I have a PCJ instead of an NRG, which is slower, obviously. But it's not the end of the world, because I'm not going to use the bike too much after this. I'm going to put it in the garage, and then I'm going to use it for, like, Green Saber at the end of Los Santos, and that's it. And this is here. This here is where I realise that my garage is empty. Where is the police bike that I parked here? Done, done, done. So, this is a big problem. So what I'm supposed to have is a police bike and an NRG, and I use the NRG for Green Saber, and I use the police bike way at the end of the game for reasons that I'll explain way later, but it's very important to have a police bike, but I don't have one. So now at this point, I'm kind of like panicking. I'm like, uh-oh, I don't have a police bike, that's bad. I'm gonna have to try to find one. So I'm like trying to think of when I can find one. And I realized that I can get one at the end of like a bunch of missions, but I have to be like pretty lucky for them to spawn. But I basically need to find a police bike. Anyway, things happen here. So this is Lost Sepulchre. A lot happens here in a short period of time, so I'm going to have to pause. But basically I start the mission, and then I aim at Sweet here. Now, you'll see the situation is there's a car with one open door, and there's a homie here, and there's like a homie over here, right? Like somewhere here. And then there's Sweet, and there's me. I hope that was helpful. What's supposed to happen here is Sweet tells you to recruit some people. Like here, see, he's telling you to recruit some people. And what you're supposed to do is recruit this guy and recruit this guy. And then the car doors will open, and you can get in and drive away. Oh, and also the car is like locked in place as well until both of the homies get in. So you wait for them. The problem is, if you recruit these two guys too quickly, like before Sweet gets into the car, the doors never unlock, and you can never get into the car, and you basically softlock. So that's already really annoying. I basically have to wait for Sweet to get in the car before I recruit them, which is really slow. But there's another thing where, like, it's also slow just to wait for them. What am I trying to say? Oh yeah, and I can softlock, right? If I'm not careful. But there's another strat here where if I aim at Sweet and scare him, so he puts his hands up like this, Sweet won't actually get into the car. Now this seems counterintuitive. Like, I want Sweet to get into the car because I can't get in until he gets in the car, right? But the thing is, this door's open. This door is open and waiting for Sweet. But if I aim at him until he like puts his arms down, and then he'll put his arms back up again, because that was him supposed to be getting into the car. But I've prevented him from getting into the car now. This door will stay open. It never closes. So the door is locked forever now, but it doesn't matter because there's a door open, right? And as I said earlier, open doors can't be locked. So I scare Sweet, and then I recruit these two guys as quickly as possible because I still need them to get in before I can drive away. And then I get in through the door that he left open. And then, yeah, you can see me spinning the tires. This is me locked in place until these two get in the car. So then they get in, and then away I can drive. And what's funny is we still get Sweet voice lines. But he's not even in the car. So you just leave Sweet behind. So that's faster than waiting for him to get in, and it's also less risky because you don't risk a softlock. If you mess up and he does get in the car, it's not the end of the world. You just do the normal strat, right? What am I doing? I'm like losing control. That's kind of weird. But yeah, that's that. That happens really quickly, so it's kind of hard to explain. But yeah, there you go. Alright, so then driving along here, this part of the motorway is really awkward. Because it's like elevated like this. It's really awkward to like despawn the cars that are in front of you, because on elevated roads, for whatever reason, the despawning trick doesn't work very well. So basically I have to be careful there with traffic, and I can't like actually despawn them, and I have to, you know, actually drive around cars. Whoa. Alright, so more driving, hit the marker, cutscenes happen. So this is supposed to be like the gang management tutorial where you like learn how to control the homies or whatever, but obviously I'm not gonna bother with that. I jumped and played a replay into the marker to skip some fades, but I'm not even sure it works. Alright, another little cutscene here. Right, so what I'm gonna do is a bunch of guys. There's one guy here, there's one guy back here, there's like a guy over here, and there's like 4 dudes here, and there's like the big boss here that I need to kill. what I'm going to do is I'm going to run over. I'm going to throw a grenade, like, vaguely here to the right of this tree to kill all of these guys here and make that so the boss runs away. Again, the boss has loads of health, so he won't die to the grenade. I'd have to shoot him loads. But conveniently, there's a car here. And as I said, if you run someone over, it doesn't matter how much health they have, they just instantly die. So I'm going to throw the grenade, shoot this guy, get into the car. There goes the boss running away. All those guys are dead. Run this guy over. And here's the boss. And I'm just going to reverse into him and instantly kill him like that. And there's only one guy left. I decide to run him over. Sometimes he can like hide behind buildings and stuff. Not buildings, structures, whatever. And it's kind of awkward to run him over, so I would just shoot him instead. Right, so here's this part. Sweet is going to teleport right here, and then he's going to try to get into the car. And I can't drive away until Sweet has gotten into the car. But rather than just stand here and wait for Sweet to get in, what I'm doing is I'm pushing the car towards this exit that I want to leave. But I have to push it very carefully because Sweet is going to teleport like right here. And if I push the car into him, I can kill him instantly with the whole running over thing. So I have to be very careful to push it like to the left. Oh, of course I mess it up. God damn it. I'm explaining things that don't actually happen. Whatever, I pushed it a little bit. It wasn't very good. But what I'm trying to do is like, yeah, push it to the left so that I don't run Sweet over. And then push it to the right so I go closer to the door. But yeah, whatever. I got there in the end. Alright, so driving back, this drive is a little sketchy because there's like these intersections here with lots of traffic on them and despawning isn't very reliable here for whatever reason. So I have to be careful. Oh, I messed up. I have to be careful around these corners. Now, a thing I haven't talked about is that certain missions require certain time of day in order to start. And the next mission is startable until 8 PM, which is 20 like this. So I'm a little tight on time here. I still had a minute, but sometimes I can be like really tight on time and just barely make it. Or if I don't think I'm gonna make it, I have to do like a different route or whatever. But thankfully this doesn't matter because I'm here in time and I can do the mission. Also, I get really lucky and a police bike spawns because I have wanted stars in this mission. So I get super lucky. A police bike gets delivered to me. I drive it into the garage, and problem solved, I have a police bike again. Now, this is probably the luckiest point in the entire run. If this doesn't happen, I'm going to lose tons of time in Return to Los Santos. But yeah, this guy just drives up and just delivers me a bike. It's like really lucky. Could have been a police car, it could have been anything. But no, just a bike, just right there. So yeah, that is, yeah, the luckiest part of this run, I think. Alright, home invasion. Oh yeah, so all the missions in Grove Street in this ending section of Los Santos, I'm doing in a certain order so I can do them all. Because this mission makes it nighttime, and the next mission I can only start at night. So I'm like doing the missions in a very set order to make it so the time of day is correct at all times. Whatever. Alright, here we go, driving around. So this is another stealth mission where I need to like not wake up a guy but steal a bunch of boxes from him. And I'm going to use a glitch with sliding here. So the way that sound works in this game for like stealth missions and stuff, you can see I'm like sliding. And this noise marker isn't going up at all while I'm sliding. Here I'm sliding with the boxlet. All movements in this game were given sound values, but the thing is, Rockstar didn't know about this movement. So this movement doesn't have any sound, like, amount attached to it. So by sliding, I'm not creating any noise, and I can just slide through this mission really quickly. Now, let me go back a minute. So I'm sliding with the shotgun. This only works with the shotgun, by the way. I'm not sure why. But anyway, I'm sliding with the shotgun. And then I'm going to pick up this box. Now, I'm still technically holding the shotgun. And I can slide with it here. But I have to be very careful. Because if you crouch with the box, you drop it. But in order to do the slide, I need to crouch. So I basically have to like crouch and then cancel the crouch really quickly in order to get this like slide here. So you can see I'm doing it really quickly. If I'm not fast enough, here I try to do it and I fail because I'm trying to do it too quickly. But if I'm not fast enough, I'll drop the box and I'll have to pick it up again, then it's really slow. This final box, I don't bother sliding because it's like right next to the door, so there's no point. And then here I slide and put it in. Yeah, and the putting the box in the back of the van animation is like delayed by sliding until I'm not sliding anymore. And then it just gets put into the van instantly, which is really nice. So I can skip the animation of putting the boxes in the back of the van. Okay, so more driving, nothing too interesting. Oh, I must have crashed just then. That's fine, we don't need to watch that. Here's another marker. Yeah, into there, play a replay. And then here's a really long cutscene. Now, at the end of this cutscene, I need to drive back to Grove Street. And I'm looking over here to see what cars spawn. A Greenwood's pretty okay, there's a Voodoo. But I turn and there's a club, and I decide to take the club. Could have taken the Voodoo, but yeah, it started to drive away, so I was worried I wouldn't catch it. But yeah, this is a relatively long drive that I need a random road vehicle for, so kind of important to get a decent vehicle here. Right, and now it's time for House Party. This is a really fun mission. Do I mess this up at the start? Yes, I do. I mess up at the start here and throw one grenade too shallow, and Sweet dies. But anyway, this is a fun mission. Let's explain it the second time. It's, of all missions to fail, this is like the fastest one, right? Yes, this run isn't perfect. So, in this mission, I'm basically just going to use grenades a ton to kill everyone really quickly. So right at the start here, I'm going to throw one grenade straight forwards, and then I'm going to throw another grenade slightly to the left. That will blow up this car, and the guys will die. So here I go, throw that grenade, and then the other one slightly to the left. These guys die. I'm shooting just in case they don't die. Then these four guys spawn on this roof. As soon as they die, I'm going to run over to here. And then after the next cutscene, I'll explain now because it's really quick. There's a bunch of guys here, a bunch of guys here. There's a bunch of guys, like if I draw on the mini-map, like here, hidden in the bush. There's a bunch of guys here, and there's one guy like here. And I'm basically just going to run around and just blow them all up as quick as possible. So one grenade there, run over. There's no like red marker above their head, but there are like 4 guys in this bush. So I throw a grenade at them, shoot this guy, and then everybody dies, and it's really quick. So yeah, I thought I'd pause and explain it because I was never going to be able to do that in real time.
Yeah, for sure.
Alright, cool.
Shit, man, once Lo got off the mic, then the party got started.
And the party got started, okay. So, moving on. Next mission is... what's it called? Catalyst. Next mission is called Catalyst. So, in this mission, I need to go to a place, kill some dudes, and then throw some boxes. So, some driving happens. Not that interesting. I drive into this tree to, like, stop as quickly as possible. And then I throw one grenade at the 3 guys on the right, shoot the guy on the left. You can hit them all with one grenade, but it's kind of difficult. Now, there's this car here, right? This car drives, and then it stops. You can see it's like rake. You can see it's stopping. It's like slowing down, because it's like all the weight's going forwards. Anyway, if I blow up this car by shooting the gas tank too quickly, I could soft lock here. So I need to like be patient, wait for it to stop, and then blow it up. If I'm too quick, I'll just soft lock and the mission will never progress. And going too quickly in a speedrun is a common problem. So yeah, that's a bit of a spooky point there. Anyway, here's this box throwing minigame. I just try to lob as many boxes as quickly as possible. There's not really much thought to it. Just, you know, aim slightly above Ryder's head. Go full power while he's putting the next box away. And try to time throwing the box so that he's like... You see that one went straight through him because he wasn't ready. But just try to time throwing the box so that he's ready when he when he picks it up. Oh yeah, the guy drives into the water. I forgot about that. Alright, and then you get free wanted stars. And you need to get rid of them, so you go to the paint spray. Riders in the back. Yada yada yada. Not too much interesting happens here.
Damn, homie, your stuff was tight.
Yeah, mission ends. Alright, next mission. So, this is... robbing Uncle Sam. This is called. I need to drive to a place and put a bunch of boxes into the back of this van. Let's see. Oop, hit that guy. So, taking a certain route here. This mission confuses a lot of new players because the only way onto this island that I'm driving onto really is this bridge. There's like another bridge, but it's like way over here or something. But oh, there's another one there, I guess. But this bridge is like really awkward to get to from Grove Street, so you basically have to cut through that area I went through to get here. And it's like, yeah, the shortest way here. So here, what I'm supposed to do is climb over this fence and shoot a little box here to like open the gate. But what I'm going to do instead is we're going to knife the box through the wall like that. You heard it like opened. So there's like, yeah, the hitbox for it extends through the wall, and you can punch it with your fists, but knife is a better animation for it. And then I'm going to run over here, and then I'm going to blow up this guy, and there's another little box here. I'm going to kill them both with this grenade. Now, for whatever reason, when you do it like this, these two don't actually shoot you. And they say sound the alarm twice. I don't know why that happens. Maybe because you don't get close enough to like trigger the guy outside or something. But for whatever reason, I can just ignore those two now. Now, this mission, what you're supposed to do is use this forklift and put 6 boxes into the back of the van one by one. But what I'm going to try to do, what the game expects you to do is like line up the forks like this and pick up the box. But what I'm going to do is line up the forks like this, and you can actually pick up 2 boxes at once. So I have to be very careful, and I can pick up 2 boxes at once like that. Now this is fast obviously because I don't have to drive back and forth to pick up multiple boxes, but it makes it really awkward to put the boxes in the back of the van. So I have to very carefully like do this and like, you know, put the gap between them in like in the wall of the van or whatever. So again, turn around, put my camera up so I can see what I'm doing and pick up both boxes at once. I can even do it at like an angle like that. And then drive them in one at a time like this. Now these boxes out here are really awkward because first of all there's a guy stood in front of him shooting you. Thankfully he died here. But these boxes are like at an angle. So if we look at this box, it's like this. But then this box is like this, right? And they're like a really weird angle, and it's really hard to get your forks into both of them at the same time. So I don't know if I actually successfully do it this run. No, I don't. So I wasn't close enough to the left one, so I didn't pick that one up. So I have to do the boxes one at a time, unfortunately. But it is possible to pick those both up at the same time and save some more time here. I know I got stuck a little bit. Alright. So, cutscenes happen. I'm gonna get in the van. Sorry, I'm just muting the like stream notifications that happen. Right, and then just drive back. But Ryder is in the back, and you can like honk to throw explosive boxes out of the back. And there's like 2 guys chasing you. But I don't bother with the boxes because all it really does is just blow you up sometimes. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to here and I'm going to do a sharp turn around this, like this, and hope that the guys just don't hit me. Unfortunately, they kind of do, and they disturb my van a bit, but it's alright. I managed to not flip over and keep going. And yeah, going through that little area there, I lose the guys anyway, so it doesn't really matter. And then into this marker. Now, after this cutscene, I need to run to the road and find a random road vehicle and hope that it's good. I think I actually faff around for a bit trying to find something. There's a police bike, but I don't get it. There's that car, but I don't get it. And then in the end, I just take this to Homer that parked in the car park, which is pretty awkward. So there's a bit of wasted time there. Alright, now we're almost at the end of Los Santos. Around here. And into the marker. So this is reuniting the families. This is like the big set PC mission of Los Santos. It's like the climax, the end or whatever. What you need to do is drive to a place. And then, because you're... So what's going to happen is that I'm inside an interior in here again. So I can't sprint again. But what I want to do is I want to like get from like here all the way to the back of the place as quickly as possible. So rather than like actually shoot all the police officers that are around, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to slide with the shotgun past everybody and try to just get to the back as quick as possible. The problem with that is there's a lot of enemies and they shoot you a lot. So if I had like more health, if I had like full armor or something, I could just slide past them all. So I could just go here and just keep sliding. But because I'm so low health, what I have to do is I have to turn left here and go up the stairs and get this armor here. So this armor isn't required and you can do it without it, but yeah, I just didn't have enough health. I took too much damage before this point and the guys damaged me a lot, so I had to just heal. But yeah, still sliding past everybody. I think I almost die actually. Yeah, I get really close to dying, but thankfully I don't. And then you have to kill those two. You have to kill those two guys, and then the cutscene will start. Now, in this mission here, this helicopter is going to spawn. And what we're going to do is we're going to throw a grenade. What I'm going to do is I'm going to throw a grenade at the helicopter to blow it up rather than shooting it. What I used to do back in the day was used to watch this cutscene and let it play out. And then at the end of it, the helicopter was lower than if you skipped the cutscene. Obviously, watching a cutscene is quite slow, but it would make it so you could blow the helicopter up with a grenade. You just throw the grenade, it would land on the ground, and then the explosion would be, like, big enough from the ground to, like, hit the heli, like, up here or whatever. If you skip the cutscene, the helicopter is too high, and the explosion from the ground, like, won't hit it. But in recent years, people figured out a thing called pause buffering. So flashing images warning for people that have epilepsy or whatever. What you can do is, for whatever reason, this game, for the escape key, this game uses the normal Windows input protocol. That sounds fancy, but basically, if you're typing a message, right, and you hold one of the keys, you'll type one out, and then you'll type loads of them really quickly, right? You'll just like, if you press like H, you'll go H, 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 right? Well, the game handles the escape key like that. So what you can do is you can press escape to pause, and if you just hold the escape key, the game will like pause and unpause really, really quickly. And that has a bunch of weird effects. So I skip the cutscene here, so the helicopter is really high up. Normally it would be like here if you didn't skip the cutscene. But what I'm going to do, and again, flashing images warning, is I'm going to throw the grenades, right? So it should go like this and land here. But what I'm going to do is as soon as the grenade gets to like here, I'm going to pause buffer. So watch carefully. Is the grenade is like here, see? And traveling really slowly. So what's happening is that while I'm pause buffering, the game is like, you know, nothing's happening because the game's like pausing loads, right? Like nothing's moving because the game's being paused constantly. But for whatever reason, the fuse of the grenade is counting down in real time. So you could basically use pause buffering like this to like cook the grenade essentially. But like after you've thrown it. So I throw the grenade, and as soon as it's close enough, I cook the grenade by pause buffering, and it doesn't move until it blows up, and then that kills the helicopter like that. Then small thing here, I land on this, fall over, and play a replay. And yeah, this is one of the uses of pause buffering. There are other uses that I'll probably make use of later, but that's like one of the first uses you see. But anyway, there's like a big trigger box down here, like a big hitbox, that when I touch it, the cutscene will start. what you're supposed to do is run all the way around and go down the stairs and walk into it. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drop into it by using a certain like line up there, like that. And that just triggers the cutscene really quickly. Okay, so here's the big auto-scroller at the end of reuniting the families. In this auto-scroller, you get given an AK-47. And later in the game, I'm going to use the AK-47 for lots of things, including sliding. So in order to make it better for sliding, like faster at sliding, and also better for like shooting and stuff, I'm going to train my AK-47 skill here. So I'm going to mute because the AK is really loud. But basically what I'm doing is I'm just shooting constantly with the AK, and I'm just shooting like anything to train my skills. You see, I've got gangster skill already. Whoops, what the hell did I just press? Don't do that. So I have gangster skill already, right? I just keep shooting, and you see how my skill went up even though I'm just shooting my own car? In this mission, for whatever reason, shooting your own car counts as training your AK-47 skill. I'm not 100% certain why, but basically I'm just holding the fire button the entire time and just constantly shooting. I obviously need to shoot the enemies or I'm gonna die, because, you know, the car has like, okay, well, the car has like health or whatever. But I know exactly where all the enemies are gonna be, so it doesn't matter. I just shoot everyone as quickly as possible. But I keep shooting my own car to train my AK-47 skill. Now, 2 times in this mission, a guy on a bike will jump onto your car, and he'll punch you, and that will do damage to you. And I don't want to lose any health, so I make sure to shoot him before he gets a chance to jump onto the car. So you see, he jumps on, but he's already dead, so he instantly rolls off. But yeah, so I'm just training more AK-47 skill. It's going up really quickly. I've almost got max skill, and you go all the way to max, which is Hitman. So there's Hitman level. I now have like, I can now fire while moving, which is really important for sliding. So now I can shoot and slide at the same time. And yeah, I basically just am an expert with the AK-47 now. Just through like half of this mission, just shooting my own car a bunch. And there's another guy here who jumps onto the car, so I try to shoot him before he does. Again, he spawns and he's already dead. And then that's it. And then I basically take a break, because they're not going to damage me enough to kill me at this point. So here's this big set piece, big cutscene, blah 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 blah. Right, and then we're on to the final mission of Los Santos. So I'm going to run over to this road and try to find the fastest vehicle I can. I get a moonbeam and then Picador. Yeah, okay, I got it before it popped up. Yeah, so the moonbeam was really slow, so I ignored that, but thankfully I got a somewhat decent vehicle. Picador's not that great, but yeah, it could be worse. It could be a moonbeam. Right, so I'm going to drive to the final mission of Los Santos. This is Green Saber. So in this mission... Oh, also, when this cutscene starts, I spam jump. Oh, I didn't do it. Okay, never mind. Anyway, so in this mission, I need to drive to a place and shoot a bunch of guys to, you know, kill them or whatever and end the mission as quickly as possible. So I would take the NRG that I have, but obviously I don't have one. I have a Pcj instead, so I have to take that. And I'm basically just going to drive as quickly as possible to the marker over here. Now, I don't actually drive into this marker. I, like, park near it and then get off and walk into it. That's because if you drive into this marker, it, like, you, like, freeze in place for a few seconds and you can't do anything. So it's actually faster to park next to the marker and then run through it, because it doesn't freeze you in place if you run through it like this. So a little optimization there of, you know, stopping before the marker and running into it. Then get out of this car that cutscene happens in, back onto the bike that's still there, and then hit that lamppost, very important. Drive up the road. And here again, I'm going to jump out of the vehicle and play a replay at the same time. Oh, I did play the replay. I must have missed it. Whatever. And then I'm going to shoot these guys as quick as possible. So I shoot these guys like this. And then here comes a van. So I'm going to throw a grenade and then pause buffer when the van is next to the grenade, so it blows up on top of it. And then I'm going to run over here, chuck another grenade, and pause buffer again when the grenade's next to it to kill it. And then I ran out of grenades, unfortunately, because I messed up House Party, so I have to shoot that guy. But I shot him pretty quickly. And that's the end of Green Saber. And that is the end of Los Santos. So that was a pretty okay Los Santos time. 1:15. A 1:14 would have been like really good, like probably my fastest ever or whatever, but a 1:15 is okay. There were still mistakes here, obviously, and there were still things I could improve. But I think that was pretty good. That was pretty okay for me. And yeah, here we are in Badlands. So as soon as I spawn, I'm gonna sprint over, save, and then I'm gonna load the save, and then I'm gonna run into the mission marker, which is like right here. But I'm going to walk into the mission marker while the fade in from the save is still happening. So it like skips the fade in for the mission. Now you may wonder why the hell I'm going to save and then load the save and then run into the marker. There's a really weird thing that happens if you play through all of Los Santos and then come to Badlands. For whatever reason, the police just will not bust you if you're on a bike if you play through Los Santos. What I think is happening is there's a mission in Los Santos where they make it so that police can't bust you on bikes, but they never unset it, right? So you like can never be busted on bikes for the rest of the game for whatever reason. But I actually want to be busted later, and I will be on a bike when I'm doing it. So what I do is I save and then I load the save. And for whatever reason, that gets rid of that weird effect, and I can actually get busted again. I'm not really sure why. It's very strange. But yeah, continuing with Badlands. In this mission, I need to kill a guy and then take his picture. So I'm just going to drive up the mountain as quick as possible on the bike. Just going up here. Yada yada yada. Yeah, fastest route. I'm not skipping it because this is kind of interesting, driving up this like cliff here to like skip up to this other part of the road and then jump over like that. And then over to here. Now, up to this point, I've been using that Pcj replay that I have to like, you know, skip fade outs and spawn PCJs and stuff. But I'm in the Badlands now, and there aren't any PCJs in the Badlands, at least normally. So what I'm going to do instead is, I'm on a Sanchez, and this is probably the best vehicle that I can find in the Badlands. So what I'm going to do instead is like a replay here. So there's another cutscene here that ends instantly, there's no fade out, and I control when it ends. So I basically skip the cutscene and then make a replay as quick as possible. And I'm making a replay of this Sanchez, and it's really fast. So again, I'm going to use that for the rest of Badlands to try to spawn Sanchez's as much as possible, because they're really good vehicles. Also, at the end of Green Saber, I lost all of my weapons. So all I have right now are fists and a camera. So I have to like splatter this guy so he dies and drops his gun. Take his gun, and then I use it to kill this guy. Take his picture. There's a thing I was trying to do there to go quickly, but I messed it up. But anyway, I take his picture and then drive away. Now, here comes a really cool drop off of this mountain. Here we go. Oh yeah, I messed it up, don't I? Yeah, and I almost die. Yeah, that could have been the end right then. Holy cow. Yeah, so what I'm supposed to do is like slide down the whole mountain. I'm supposed to just slide down it and land on the road. But it's obviously really risky, because if I fall off, I can get killed. But thankfully I got really lucky there, and somehow I didn't die, and I have just barely enough health to keep going. So that's another close shave for this run. Oh, lose control a bit there. Right, and then into the marker we go, like that. Hooray! And there's no cutscene or anything at the end of this mission. And then I swap Sanchez here, because that Sanchez fell over and I'd have to pick it up. So it's actually faster to swap to the Sanchez that's already stood up, and is kind of also sort of facing the right way a little bit. I can like turn it around while I'm getting on it, right? So yeah, switch to the Sanchez. So now I'm going to take a specific route. I need to drive to like the other side of the Badlands, basically. Like literally the other side of the island, the other side of the map, to do the rest of the missions. But rather than drive all the way there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to drive like halfway there, and then I'm going to get busted. So what happens when you get busted or when you die is that you get teleported to the closest available police or a police station or hospital. So what I'm going to do is, and I try to get that police attention, but I fail. He doesn't actually follow me, I don't think. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get just barely close enough to the police station to where I want to go, and then I want to get busted, so I teleport to it. If I get busted any earlier than this point, I'll teleport to the wrong police station, like way back to like the west, but I want to go like way to the east. So what I'm doing, yeah, I get this police officer, make him to get out of the car, and then I just sit on the bike so he busts me like this. Now, this makes it so I lose all my weapons, but I don't really have any at this point anyway. But now I'm here in, whatever this place is called, Dillamore. There you go. Ooh, that cop's going weird. And yeah, this is right next to the mission. So if I didn't do this, I'd have to, like, drive for ages all the way over here, and it's a pain in the ass. Right, so this is first date. You need to get a car for Catalina. Annoyingly, a tractor spawned, and she can't get in that, but thankfully this spring spawned. Now, these missions you can do in any order you want. There's 4 Catalina missions, so you can, yeah, do them however you want. But I do them in a certain order, which is obviously the fastest. And the first one is this one that's right here in Dillamore, which is a gas station or whatever. This mission, there's a truck. You need to steal it, and then you need to take the trailer and you need to drive it to a place. But the problem is, if the trailer disconnects, you'll instantly fail the mission. There's no, like, reconnecting it or anything like that. You instantly fail. And what makes it worse is that this guy is chasing you. So the way the trailer will disconnect is if it goes, like, more than a 90-degree angle. So if it was to go, like this way or this way, like this, it will instantly disconnect and you'll fail the mission. And as you'll see, this thing is real slidey and loves to go all over the place. I don't remember how close I get in this mission, but this mission's normally pretty scary. There is a faster strat where you can drive like across the grass this way, but it's really risky because the trailer can just get like popped off or whatever and you'll instantly fail. So I decided to go the slower route here and keep this run going. But look how much is sliding, like even just going around corners. And here it gets really close to disconnecting, but I just managed to save it. Like again, if it goes more than 90 degrees either way, I'll instantly fail the mission. I have to drive back over there and wait for Catalina to talk and crap. Now this bit's a little scary. I have to drive over this hill. Here's a Sanchez, and I knock the guy on the Sanchez over just for fun. And then I drive over this and into the marker. But little do I know that the Sanchez doesn't actually despawn, and it stays there even during this cutscene. Look, it's still back there. So I turn around and the Sanchez is still there, and I'm like, oh boy, Sanchez. So this was pretty lucky. I didn't realize it was going to happen like that it wouldn't despawn, so I'm glad I ran him over, because yeah, I didn't have to look for a vehicle, and I just got the best vehicle I possibly could instantly. Right, so now annoyingly I have to go all the way back to Angel Pine again. So Dillamore has a police station and Angel Pine has a hospital. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to answer this phone call, run up this cliff, and then I'm just going to fall off of it. Now, I have to be really careful here, because there's basically like Angel Pine Hospital is like all the way this way, but there's also like a bunch of other hospitals this way. And if there's like an invisible line here, and if I cross this line, I'm actually closer to the other hospital that's like all the way over here. But if I'm on like this side of the line, I'm closer to like the Angel Pine Hospital this way. And the line is actually like way tighter than this. It's more like this, I think. So I have to be very careful. I can't just like jump way off of the cliff, because if I do, I'm going to teleport to the wrong place. So you have to sort of like slide off of the... You have to like slide off of the cliff. So if you watch, I sort of just like very patiently just walk off of it, like very carefully. I like just sort of like fall off like that, just barely, and like hug the cliff. Because yeah, if I just sprint off, I'll teleport to the wrong place. So here I am in Angel Pine. Now the next mission, I want a bike, and thankfully I get one to spawn. Again, I'm trying to cancel the phone call animation by falling off the vehicle here. But yeah, I got a bike, which is really good. It's not a Sanchez, so it could have been better, but this bike is perfectly fine. This is like the second best bike I could have found. But yeah, I want a bike for this mission because there's going to be a bunch of enemies shooting me. And again, with the car accuracy bug, if I take a car, they're going to be way more accurate and they might actually kill me, which is pretty upsetting. Anyway, oh, I must have fallen off then. So I drive up past Truth's farm here. And then I drive up this hill here. I have to take a very specific angle to be able to make it up this hill. Like that. I just barely have enough speed to make it up. If you're not careful, you'll slide back down and then I won't have any speed anymore, so I basically have to go up really slowly. Right, so here's this combine harvester that I need to steal. And yeah, there's a bunch of dudes. I'm going to ignore all of them and just drive past as quickly as possible. I'm going to drive straight into this wall and get flung over the wall off my bike. And then run over to here. Now, after this mission, I want to death warp by exploding a car. And a car explosion will only do like... The car explosion will only do like this much damage. It doesn't do your whole damage unless you're inside the car. So there's this guy here that I like landed next to when I went over the wall. I want him to shoot me once with his rifle so I lose like this much health. Unfortunately, he didn't hit me, so I have full health. So it means I'm going to have to do a backup strat after this where I shoot the car, explode it, and then I have to dance in the fire and die and like burn to death basically. Also, I don't have any guns anymore because I've, you know, been busted and died a whole bunch. So I kill this guy who gets out of the combine harvester with the melee, and I take his gun here. And now I have a rifle, and that's the gun I'll use to blow up the car when I'm done with this mission. Right, and then I'm driving out, not too much is happening. Trying to avoid all the, like, collisions and stuff. I think these tractors actually hit me, yeah, so that slows me down a bunch, which is annoying. And then I drive out. Now here, I need to go, if we look at the minimap, I need to go, like, all the way over here and then down towards the marker into Truth's farm. The problem is there's this big hill in the way, and if I flip the combine harvester over, I'm not flipping it back, because it's really hard to flip. So I need to be really careful driving down this cliff. Like, I want to go quickly, of course, but I also don't want to flip over. So I think I slow right down here. Yeah, I recently lost a run to it, so I actually go very carefully and very slowly there. But you can do that much faster, but yeah, that was alright. And then into the marker. So skip this cutscene. So here I have to answer a phone call. This car here, this circle thing here, is actually like the gas tank or whatever. So I'm going to shoot that with the rifle to blow up the car. But as you'll see, it doesn't actually kill me. And then I have this one panicked moment where I look and there's no fire. And I'm like, uh-oh. Because the backup strat to this is to fall off a hill, which is like really far away. I have to like jump and I'll run out of sprint and stuff. So I'm like, uh-oh, there's no fire. But thankfully one bit of fire spawns. And it's just enough to kill me and get me to teleport. So that was pretty close. But yeah, I go back to Angel Pine. And there you'll see that I ran forwards a little bit and then turned around to get into the ambulance. If you turn around straight away, the ambulance doesn't spawn. So I had to like run forwards a little bit and then turn. It looks kind of weird, but yeah, it's how you get the ambulance to spawn. And I take the ambulance here because it's a set spawn and I don't have to drive very far. And it's a decent vehicle, it's pretty fast. Here we are again. Oh, I accidentally activate the save menu, which I didn't want to do. That mission is just a cutscene, but I need to watch it to progress. And then here we are again. Again, I need to go all the way to Catalina, who's on the other side of the Badlands. So I'm again going to drive the same route I did before. And I'm going to come over to here and I'm going to try to get busted. And thankfully I get a cop car. If a cop car doesn't spawn down this road, I have to drive all the way and it's really slow. So here's the cops. I get on the bike and they can bust me because I loaded that save earlier. And then I teleport back to Dillamore. I have to think of what the name is called each time. This is another point where the random vehicle I get is really important. Annoyingly, there were lots of bikes and stuff, but I just take the first thing I see because that's faster. But I have to drive to Catalina, who's like a decent distance away and over hills and stuff. So the random vehicle I get is kind of important. Thankfully, I got a Stallion, which is perfectly fine. Struggles up this hill, though. I really wish I had like looked a little bit longer and stole that Sanchez, but it's like you can look for a good vehicle as long as you want, but for as long as you're looking, you're losing time, right? So it's often better to just take the first vehicle you see rather than like look around for something. Anyway, I leave the passenger side door open for Catalina so she can get in quicker. Now there's 3 missions left. You got this one, and this one. I'm going to do the furthest away one first. And that's because the order that you do these missions in will actually give you different cutscenes after you finish them. So by doing it in this order, I'll actually get a really fast cutscene at the end. And this mission will also give me a police bike, and I want to use the police bike for the next mission. So I basically do small town bank, then local liquor store, and then against all odds. So small town bank for the police bike, and then yeah, use the police bike for the next mission. Anyway, in this mission, I drive to the place, go into this marker, and now there's this mini game here where you need to aim at these 4 people. So over time, they'll slowly like put their arms down more and more. And if they put their arms all the way down, they'll activate an alarm. And what we're supposed to do is like aim at them one after the other without shooting them to make it so they keep their arms up. Because when you aim at them, they like reset their arms to the maximum height or whatever. But the thing is, this minigame doesn't actually have any end. And they'll just put their arms lower faster and faster and faster until you eventually fail. And then the mission progresses. So rather than doing any of that, I just immediately shoot the security guard who has a handgun. Because I want his handgun. So I just shoot him immediately. I actually missed the first shot, which is funny. But I shoot him immediately to just end the minigame as quick as possible and move on. Now I need to shoot these ATMs to get the money out. So I just shoot them with a shotgun. You'll notice that each time I shoot, I like crouch. That's because by crouching, I'm like cancelling the recoil on the shotgun. So normally you'd shoot, and then CJ will go bang, and then it'll like wait, and then it'll go bang, and then it'll wait. But if I shoot and go bang and then crouch, I can shoot again like really quickly. So that's why I'm like crouching every time I like use the shotgun. Then here I'm like collecting handgun ammo, shooting people so that Catalina doesn't get stuck on them. Now while I'm waiting for Catalina to run forwards, I run into this ammunition, and I'm going to buy 2 things. I buy this rifle to use for the next mission, and then I buy some armor so that I don't die. But yeah, I don't I don't lose too much time doing this because I'm waiting for like Catalina to run forwards to this spot anyway. And normally she gets stuck on like other police officers, but thankfully that didn't happen this time. Alright, so shoot these 2 cops so that the next part of the mission happens. Annoyingly, that guy like crouched in fear, which doesn't always happen. Sometimes they like just shoot you. And I wish he had just stood up and shot me because I have muscle memory for shooting him in the face if he does that. Now here, you're supposed to follow Catalina down this road and do like this big stunt jump here and whatnot. But what I'm doing instead is I'm driving down this road that's parallel to it. And again, if you remember I talked about earlier, when you're following people, they have circles around them of how close you are. And if you're out here, they'll go slowly. If you're in here, they'll go normal. And if you're really close to them, they'll go really quickly. The circles are like way bigger than this, though. It's more like this and then like this, but I don't have enough space to draw it, obviously. So I want to be as close to Catalina as possible so that she'll drive quickly. But I don't want to go over this stupid stunt jump, which like plays in slow motion and stuff. And this road's like really crap and I'll get like knocked around and stuff. So instead what I'm going to do is go across this road and then go along this grass here like this. So I stay close to Catalina, but I don't have to take the crappy road that she's taking. So if you see, I'm like keeping up with her and she's going really quickly. Here though, I'll break off and then she'll start to go really slowly. If you'll see, she like slows down a lot, see? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to position my bike in a certain spot where I know she's about to fall off the bike. She's going to go over here, fall off the bike, and then she'll just get straight on my bike. Unfortunately, I drive forwards a little bit early here, but it doesn't matter too much. But yeah, so I position my bike and wait for her to get on, because I know exactly where she's going to end up. Right, and then driving up the hill, going to our house. Yeah, just ending the mission. This cutscene here is really weird. I'm driving into this marker. If I spam skip, I'll keep all of my momentum and I'll just like fly over this hill that's here. So what I have to do is I have to watch the cutscene a little bit and then skip it, and then I don't go too fast. So you see I'm still moving at the end of it. It's really weird. And then I put the police bike there so it doesn't despawn. And then I run over to it and get her on, and I'm gonna sneeze. No, wait, am I? Yes. Okay, good. Sneezed away from the microphone. Okay, so now I have the police bike for this mission, which is good because it's fast. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drive over to here. In this mission, you're supposed to use a quad bike and chase a bunch of guys on the quad bike and wait for Catalina to shoot them. And then they'll die and you'll collect their briefcases. But like with all of the other wait for NPC to shoot things missions, I'm just going to shoot them myself because that's faster. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get on a quad bike, I get off the quad bike, switch back to the police bike, wait for Catalina to get on. I'm going to drive to this spot here, and these three guys are going to drive all the way along here and up along here. And again, with the whole circle thing, because I'm really far away from them, they're going to go really slowly. So they're gonna drive up this hill really slowly. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to stand here, and using that rifle I got at the ammunition, I'm going to shoot them all. They each take 2 shots, so ideally I would do this in 6 shots. But obviously I'm missing a bit. What's not very evident when you watch GTA SA speedruns is that, like, I keep my mouse still and I move it in, like, if you look really carefully, I'm, like, moving it in, like, blocks. It, like, boop, 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 boop. Do you see, like, it moves, like, really jittery? The game has, like, the game has, like, a really weird system for handling, like, mouse movement. So the way I describe it is there's, like, a massive grid up and down. This is terrible. There's a massive grid up and down, the world. And it's, like, you know, sideways and stuff as well. And when you move the mouse, you can only move, like, between spots on this grid. I can never move to, like, you know, I can never go from here to, like, here, or to, like, here or here or anything. I have to basically just jump along this grid of, like, places that I'm allowed to put my crosshair. And this grid is, like, really small. Like, I obviously can't draw it small enough here. So it's normally fine. But in situations like this, when I'm trying to, like, snipe a faraway target with, like, a really small crosshair, it's, like, really difficult. So if you really pay attention to, like, if I slow it down maybe, where's playback speed slower, you could see, like, yeah, it moves in, like, it jumps when I move the mouse. It jumps in, like, increments. And that makes, like, sniping people like this really difficult. And it's really annoying. There we go, found the speed option again. So, I don't have perfect aim here, and I missed 2 shots. But, yeah, I blame San Andreas' weird, like, precision aiming system. It's very strange. So, yeah, I shot those guys. I used 8 shots instead of 6, which means I missed 2. But it's fine. Pick up the briefcases, and then drive back to her place.
Okay, look, but we gotta talk about something.
Oh, a little tiny detail that I'm gonna rewind to tell you about. When I drive into this marker, the bike continues for a little bit, right? And like that Denise cutscene earlier, Catalina is gonna get off the bike and then try to walk to an exact spot. and the cutscene won't continue until she gets to that exact spot. So I'm trying to like drive as close as possible in this marker to where she's going to walk to. But I can't drive all the way to the left, because if I do that, you see these little stairs here. If I drive all the way to the left, I'll actually block these stairs, and she won't be able to get up anymore, and she'll have to find like another way. I can't remember if this cutscene soft locks or anything. Some cutscenes have like a timer built into them, where if the cutscene takes too long, it will just end. So it's like a safety timer thing. Or I can't remember if that, or she finds another way around or whatever. But I have to be careful not to go too far to the left and block this little tiny stairway. But I don't want to go too far to the right and have her like have to walk really slowly up the stairs. So I think in this run I go pretty middle, yeah. So she gets off here, look, and she just has to walk to like here before the cutscene will end. See, so she'll walk up the stairs, and as soon as she gets up there, the cutscene ends. See, so I have to position myself really carefully there. Yeah, there's another tiny detail that you probably don't notice just watching the run. Right, again, I left the passenger side door open for Catalina. I could get in the driver's side, right, but I can open the door for her, which is, you know, being a gentleman and everything, but it's also just fast. Alright, so this mission's fun. This is like a satchel tutorial mission. So the game gives you 10 satchels, and you need to use them to blow up this door over here. And then there's like a safe, like inside there, that you need to blow up. Or blow up the door to, so that you can get the money. But what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to run right up to the door, and I'm going to throw the satchel through the door, like this. So you see, I just threw a satchel and it just disappeared. What's actually happening is the satchel is going inside the room, and it's going to blow up the safe. Right, here's my drawing of a safe. There you go. And like thingies here. There you go. It's gonna blow up the door to the safe. That's pretty good, actually. I like that. It's gonna blow up the door to the safe with that satchel. So I got that one, and then I turn around and actually throw a satchel at the door. You can't just blow up the safe, because the game wants you to blow up the door and the safe. There you go, you got a glimpse of it just then. So you need to blow up the door and the safe. So I just basically throw 2 satchels, one through the door for the safe and one for the door. It's better than like I keep saying drawing now. It's better than throwing one satchel at the door and then blowing it up, running away. Yeah, it blows up, run back, throw a other satchel at the safe, run out, blow it up, run back, right? It's faster to do it all at once. Now, another little weird detail here. This fade to black here is really long. And if you spam the skip button, you just make this fade out longer. It's really weird. So I just have to be patient and just wait for the game to fade back in. Now, I have 8 satchels now. But I actually want to use satchels for like the rest of San Fierro, basically. So what I'm going to do is, in this alleyway, there's more satchels here. I'm going to draw a little satchel. There we go. So there's more satchels in this alleyway. I think there's like 20. So I run into the alleyway, pick them up. That's 15. I run into the alleyway, pick them up, and then turn around. And now you see I have 23 satchels instead. Too much is happening too quickly. I'm missing more explanations. So here's the satchels. You can't really see them. Now here, in this mission, you get given 4 stars. And you need to lose the wanted level before you can continue. The game wants you to use the pay and spray because it like puts it on your map and everything. But what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to use 2 bribe stars to lose 4 wanted level. This gets pretty complicated quickly, but the game doesn't actually use like the stars as your actual wanted level. Your actual wanted level is like a number that is called the chaos meter. And the chaos meter is like a number. I don't remember exactly what these numbers are, but instead of displaying like a number here to you, what they do is they display like they stars instead. Let's say if you get 50 chaos meter, you'll get like 1 star. That's, oh my god, that's awful. Yeah, if you do 50 chaos, you'll get 1 star. If you get like 200, you'll get like 2. And then if you get 1,000, you'll get like 3. And if you get like 5,000, you'll get 4. These numbers probably aren't right. I'm just making them up, right? But this is how the actual wanted level system works, right? And if you don't commit any crimes, your number will like slowly go down and down and down and down and down. And if you commit crimes, like killing a random pedestrian will increase it by like 50 or something, and killing a cop will increase it by like 200 or whatever, right? Stuff like that. It's never actually as simple as just pure wanted level stars, right? The reason I'm explaining this is because in this mission, I have 4 wanted level, and you might think that would be really hard to lose, but what's actually happened is that, say that there's like levels of wanted stars, right? So like this is 0 stars, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, and this is 5, right? What people think of when you get 4 stars is that it set me to 4 stars. So it would set me like to like here. Say this is the 4-star threshold, and say this is like 10,000 chaos, right? What's actually happened is that it set me to like here, just barely 4 stars at like say 6,000 or something. So all I need to do is not commit any crimes for a little bit of time, and then I'll go just over this threshold, and then I'll go to 3 stars at like 5,000 or lower or whatever, right? So if I just don't commit any crimes, I'll go to 3 wanted stars. And yeah, so another aspect of this is that where you are also impacts how much wanted level you lose. So if you're in a city, your wanted level ticks down like really slowly. But if you're in like the middle of nowhere, like the Badlands, your wanted level will actually tick down twice as fast. It's supposed to be like, you know, you're hiding in the countryside or whatever, I don't know. So I'm in the countryside, I barely have 4 stars. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to be a good boy for a minute, and I'll lose my wanted level. The problem with this is that cops like to stand right here, which is right in front of my car, right? So if I'm not careful, I'm going to run over a cop and increase my wanted meter from like, you know, from like here at 4 stars. I'd go up to like here or something if I ran over a cop or something, right? So I need to be like really careful. Thankfully there was only 1 cop here this time, but sometimes there can be like 3 of them. And sometimes they like to jump out of the way of my car. But what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to drive around them like this. So sometimes they can jump to the left, and I'm going to go to the left, and I'll hit them. And that loses a lot of time, because then I have to wait out, like, instead of waiting from here on the 4, I have to wait from, like, here instead, until I get to the 3. The reason that's relevant, I'll get to in a second. So that was a lot of explaining for something very simple. But basically, I'm going to drive away and wait for the 4th star to go away. That's it, basically. So people get confused here at how fast I lose the 4th star, right? But yeah, there it goes. But again, it's because people's perception of how the wanted level works is that they think the wanted level is like when you're at 2 stars, and then you'll go to like 3 stars, and you'll go to 4 stars, and you'll go to 5 stars. But it's actually like way more complicated than that, and it's like, you know, a numerical value that like decays over time, right? So it actually sets me to just barely 4 stars. Not like I just get 4 stars, just barely 4 stars, right? So I now have 3 stars. I haven't committed any crimes. My chaos meter is continually going down. And I'm in the countryside. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use 2 bribe stars now to go from 2 stars to 1 star. So there's 1 bribe star here. I'm going to pick it up, and then I'm down to 2 stars. So that just jumped me a load down the chaos meter. And there's another bribe star here, which decreases my chaos meter even more. Now, I think what happens when you pick up a bribe star is that it does actually just jump you. So I don't think bribe... Maybe someone can correct me in the comments or in chat or whatever, but I think what happens is, say this is like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a terrible 3. Say that, like, I'm at, like, here on 3 stars, right? When I pick up the bribe star, I think it just jumps you to the next threshold, like, straight up. It doesn't decrease it by, like, 500 or 5,000 or whatever. It will just jump you to the next threshold. So I pick up 1 bribe star, so I go from, like, you know, a little bit down 3 to the beginning of 2, and then I pick up a 2nd bribe star, and then that jumps me all the way across 2. So I'm jumping an entire wanted level's worth of, like, chaos meter all the way to 1. And 1 is, like, barely anything. It's, like, 50. It's, like, really easy to lose, right? So I basically lost, like, a ton of wanted level. If I instead had, like, gone from, like... I messed the scale up, whatever. If I instead had gone from 4 stars, if I was like here on 4 stars, and I pick up the bribe star to go to 3, I would only jump a little bit to here. Do you see what I mean? And then if I pick up the next bribe star, I would jump to here, which is like 100 or 1,000 or something, whereas this threshold is only like 50 or something, right? So by just barely scraping past this threshold from 4 stars to 3 stars and then jumping 2 entire thresholds, I've actually decreased my chaos meter way more than if I had had 4 stars and then picked up 2 bribe stars, right? I hope that isn't too, like, nerdy or crazy or anything, and I hope I explained it well with, like, my diagrams or whatever, but that's why not running the cops over at the start of this mission is so important, because I need to just barely get down just under the 4-star threshold, and then I can make 2 massive jumps. And then here, instead of going to the stupid pay and spray, like this one wanted star is just gonna go away by itself like any second. See, like that. So that's how you do that mission really quickly. I hope that was a good explanation. the chaos meter and stuff. It's useful information to have, so if you're ever trying to lose the police or whatever in this game, specifically, not in real life, and you're about to pick up a bribe star, like, maybe just wait until you lose 1 star if you can not commit any crimes on its own, and then pick up the bribe star, because you might just actually lose, like, way more chaos meter than you would if you just picked it up. So there you go. Here's the next mission. This mission's a race. I have to answer the phone call and then get into the car. I know exactly where the marker's going to be, obviously. Oh yeah, and the Catalina cutscene that played was really short. It just ended, like, really quickly. And that's the end of Catalina missions. Now, it's time for races. I don't think anything too interesting happens here. It's kind of scary because I'm at the beginning of the races. I'm driving, like, next to the water here. And one mistake and I'm going to fly into the water and fail the mission and have to go all the way back. But nothing like that happens this run, so I'm just driving. It's some good driving, you know, you can watch it if you want, but yeah, I'm going to skip through it. There is one little interesting detail that happens at the end here. So, this race mission ends, and then I'm waiting for the next one to start, and the next one starts, like, right here, but you may notice when you're playing this game that there's 2 kinds of markers. There's, like, small markers that you're supposed to be, like, on foot for, right? Like that. And then you've got, like, big markers that you can, like, drive cars into, right? And if you drive a car into the little markers, nothing will happen because you're supposed to be on foot for them, right? Surely you guys have noticed that when you're, like, playing the game or whatever, right? Now, for some reason, the next mission is a race mission, right? And this mission, if we go back to the start of it, you'll notice that when I answer the phone call, it's like a really big marker, right? It's one of the big markers that you're supposed to drive a car into because you need a car to race with, yeah? So it expects you to drive a car into it, and then you use the car that you drove into it for the mission, like this. Well, the next mission is different in that this mission gives you a car. It gives you a black ZR, like Woozy's black ZR that you won from Pink Slips or whatever. So for that reason, there's like a small on-foot marker here that spawns to start the mission with. But for whatever reason, you can drive a car into it. It's very strange. It's like they started with a big car marker, and then at some point they were like, oh, actually, this should be a small marker, but they forgot to change it so that you can drive a car into it. But it's really weird because it's like CJ needs to be in the marker, right? Even though I'm in a car. So I need CJ. So here's CJ, right? Like sat down driving his car or whatever. I need CJ inside of his car to be inside the marker. Even though, like, it's supposed to be an on-foot marker. But it seems like they forgot to disable you being able to be in a car to still trigger this marker. But they're still checking CJ's hitbox, not the hitbox of the car, right? So it's very, very strange. And you'll notice this little green patch here. This is my reference point. I want to have CJ, like, here. And if I do that, the next mission will start instantly. So I'm trying to, like, line it up. I sort of do an okay job of it here. I don't know if I miss it or not. If I miss it, that'll be good for demonstration. Yeah, you see, look. So, it's a little tiny marker. And the car is in it, but it didn't get triggered. That's because it wants CJ's hitbox to be in the marker, not the car. But normal missions, you still have to, even if I did this with other missions and I drove a car into the marker, it wouldn't trigger, right? But for some reason this one does. I don't know, it's very strange. It's just a little detail I noticed and I had to tell somebody. It's so weird, I don't get why this mission is like this. Right, anyway, another detail that's happening. Sorry, a lot is happening here. So, this mission, Farewell My Love. This mission, it's another mission that starts without a fade. Oh, sorry, no, this is different. So this mission has a fade in, and I'm gonna make a replay of it. But there's another, whoops, there's another prerequisite to the replay thing. So earlier I said the replay, when you record it, it will go back until the last cutscene. But that's not strictly true. It goes back until the last time you had control of CJ, right? So when you press record replay, it'll record everything up until you last had control of CJ at a maximum of 30 seconds. Well, here, even though this mission has a fade in, right, I'm still going to make a replay of it because I don't have control of CJ right now. I'm waiting for this race counter to count down. And as soon as it hits 0, I'll regain control of CJ. So what I'm going to do is I wait until exactly now. And now I press the replay button to record a replay. Right? And that will only go back as far as to when go happened. Like when I regain control of CJ. So I can make a really short replay here. And this really short replay is the replay I'm going to use for the rest of the run. Because this replay has a ZR, another ZR, it has a Jester, and most importantly, it has a Sultan. Now, these are four free really good cars, and I want to have these cars for the rest of the run. And they're like varied cars, and they can spawn everywhere, right? Like, places where the ZR can't spawn, the Sultan can. And places where the Sultan can't, the Jester can, and stuff like that. So I can reliably always find, like, a really fast vehicle by using this. So for the rest of the run, I'm going to use this and not the Sanchez replay. This is the replay I keep. It's a really, really fast... Oh, it's an Elegy, not a Jester. Sorry, chat. It's a really, really fast replay because I can make it like exact. I get a countdown, right? I get a countdown to exactly when I should press the replay record button. So it's a really, really fast replay, and it has 3 really good cars in it. And I swear it has a Buffalo in it somewhere, even though you can't see it. I don't know. But also importantly is this Sultan. this Sultan is the fastest 4-door car in the entire game, which is really useful for one mission in Los Venturas where I need to drive Paul and Macca. I need to drive them like across the map back to Los Venturas, and you need a 4-door or a 3 or more door car to do it. And this is the fastest 4-door car in the game, so it's very good to get this vehicle. It's also just a really good car. This is the best car. This is the second best car, and this is the third best car of the bunch. But the Sultan is amazing, and I love it, and we have a replay of it now, and it's really fast. Okay, that is all. Okay, anyway, yeah, so race happens, not too much interesting. Driving, oh, there was an alert then. Again, I have to be careful because I'm driving. Let's mute that. Again, I'm very careful because I'm driving along this river, and I don't want to drive into the river and instantly fail the mission. It's even worse here because if I do it now, I have to drive all the way back to the start of the mission, which is like the other side of the race, right? So it's pretty bad. Okay, so mission ends. I'm going to turn the car around, and then I'm going to drive straight into the water here. This looks really weird, but I'm training lung capacity like a teeny tiny bit, and I get respawned up here anyway. I'll explain lung capacity in San Fierro later. Okay, so continuing driving. Here I have to do a really long drive across the whole map. Good driving, idiot. But thankfully I have a ZR, which is a really fast car. So again, I don't have to rely on finding a random vehicle. I just have the ZR as long as I don't blow it up. And here is the final mission of Badlands. This is, are you going to San Fierro? Now, a fun fact about this mission, it's kind of a weird mission, and there are a few missions like it in the run. But that phone call I just answered, it spawned this marker, and it spawned the truth icon on the map, right? Well, you would think that I need to answer that phone call before I start this mission, but I actually don't. I don't need to answer this phone call. This marker, the hitbox for it, is here even before you answer the phone call. It's really strange, but all the phone call does is add like the red glow and the icon to the map. I could just walk straight to this point and start the mission after completing that last race without answering the phone call. I answer the phone call anyway, because if I don't, I'm going to have to answer that phone call in San Fierro, and it's going to slow me down, so I still do it. But it's just an interesting thing to note that this is one of the missions where you don't actually need to answer the phone to be able to start it. Okay, so in this mission, you're expected to use the flamethrower to destroy, like, all this weed. But using flamethrowers is really slow. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to use all the satchels I picked up earlier. So you've got two different kinds of weed rows. You have, like, this kind of weed row that's, like, long, and there's another long one here, if you look at the minimap. And then you have, like, a bunch of really short ones. Now, these long weed rows require 3 satchels to blow up. So I'm going to place one at the start. I'm going to walk up to it, jump, take one more step, and then throw another satchel. That's how I space these out. Do you see? So I've put 3 satchels here, and then blow this up, and that'll destroy that. And then satchel down, walk up to it, jump, take one more step, throw, jump, one more step, throw, right? That's how I space those ones. So those were the 2 ones that require 3 satchels, right? But then here is these ones that require 2 satchels only. So this is a bit more lenient because they're like way smaller. So instead I just put one satchel down and then chuck the other one randomly in the vague direction of it. And then I have killed all the weed, and it's like way faster than using the flamethrower. Now I'm going to walk into this marker. As soon as I do, I get given a rocket launcher, and there's a helicopter I need to shoot with it. So I shoot the helicopter, but the problem is, because I blew up all the weeds so quickly, Truth hasn't gotten into the mothership yet, and he's doing it now. So if I'm unlucky here, the helicopter can actually explode. There's my explosion. And it can kill Truth while he's here, trying to get into the car. Like this. There you go. There's my picture of it. But thankfully that doesn't happen here. Truth gets into the mothership before the helicopter blows up. If I'm really lucky, what I can do is turn the mothership around while the Truth is getting into it, if the helicopter like lands somewhere else. But that didn't happen this time.
What you pull over for? You better drive.
Alright, so driving to San Fierro. I think I'm going to end this first part at the start of San Fierro, because my throat is getting pretty tired and it's really hot in here. So I'm going to have to record this at a later date. But this was fun. I really enjoyed going into all this detail. I hope everyone watching enjoys the video. I know I'm elongating it quite a lot, which is why I'm going to stop now. I've been streaming... This video is about 3 hours long, and we're only an hour and 45 minutes into the run. So, I'm elongating the run a lot by explaining every little tiny detail. But I hope you enjoy watching it. So, for stream viewers, I'll do the next part of this tomorrow. And for YouTube viewers, watch part 2 of the video, I guess. Actually watch part 2. Part 1s of YouTube videos always have way more views than part 2s or 3s. And I think this is going to have to be a 3-parter. San Fierro is going to have to be like its whole own thing, I think. I'm not sure. I'll do San Fierro and the desert. And then I'll do Los Venturas and Return to Los Santos as its own thing. I don't know, we'll see what happens. What happens lengthwise. I might have more or less to explain, right? Maybe part 2 could be the whole rest of the run. I don't know.
Oh, hey, thanks.
Anyway, nothing too interesting happens. I drive into this marker, play a replay, the mission ends, this is the place, and that's the end of Badlands. So that was Los Santos Badlands. Hope you enjoyed watching. I'm going to run into this marker, start in the next part now. This is where flowers in your hair. This will be a fun mission to explain. Seems like a very simple mission on the surface, but there's actually a fair amount happening here. But yeah, thanks a lot for watching. Stay tuned for the next part. And yeah, that's all. Bye.